Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular meeting for Franklin Township Board of Trustees. Today is March 6th, 2025, and Pastor Womack, will you open us in prayer, please?
Be honored to. Father, as we gather together here this afternoon, we thank you for your love for us. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. And we thank you for this township, this county, the city, state, our country. Lord, please watch over our first responders as they watch over us. Watch over every branch of our armed forces as they watch over us. And Lord, we are thankful for this township, this community. Lord, so we ask your blessings upon this meeting, upon our trustees and those who are in those positions, those elected officials and positions that make the decisions. Give us wisdom and discernment. Lord, bless this meeting today. May there be a peace, and may it be fruitful, productive. And Lord, again, we thank you. We ask your blessings now upon the meeting. I pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mazer, if I could have a roll call, please.
Sir, Mr. Leeser?
Yep.
Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
And Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
With the absence of the physical officer. Moving on, old business, approved meeting minutes for the February 20, 2025 and February 22, 2025.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Hearing a motion to accept the minutes. If there's no question on the matter, I'd ask for a second.
I'll second
Hearing a second, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Mr. Leeser?
it. Yes.
Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
And Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Oh, I've answered for you.
That's all right.
New business. I am anxious to, Brian Wingfield had been here before, come on up. And he's with the Ohio Cannabis Company, and he came to us, was it about a year ago?
It's a little less, but it feels like it's long.
Yeah.
About
so-
6 months ago.
So we had, looking at a location at the Boston Market, and there was a lot of zoning issues and et cetera. And fortunately, those have been put to bed, and I'm gonna let you take the floor and explain what is coming into Franklin Township.
Thank you, trustees and members of the community. Thank you for giving your time today. I'll just give you a quick rundown of where we are and where we're heading with this project and this build out. Like John said, we had a long road to get the committee to believe that the zoning was compliant with where it is. The zoning appeal board did in fact agree with us on that, so we're moving forward on that. With that, we received our provisional license for that location. That's not the license that opens it, right, it's to do everything to get set up to do the final inspection and the certificate of operation. So we received that this week. We are probably, I would say, the last draft of the lease to have that locked in. And at that point, we are currently also, floor plans for that facility should be finished up within about 2 weeks. From there, we're going to start putting those out to bid, and then hopefully awarding the bid, 1st of April, and then construction starts from there. So things are moving along really quickly. Other things related to the industry that I think that are very important to the township. Originally, Senate Bill 56 was introduced, removing any of the extra income that would come from the taxes generated from this business away from the township and moving it to the general fund for the state of Ohio. I know, John, I don't know if the rest of you reached out to your local representatives, but enough people did that they did in fact remove that part and left that in there, so that the tax revenue under Senate Bill 56 does allow the revenue, the 36% of the taxes that are collected to come back to the township. So then now it's gonna go to the House. We'll see if the House makes any difference. But if you are able to call them and say, hey, that revenue matters to us, it's something that we'll be able to use to, law enforcement, to fire department, things like that, the things that you guys want to decide, that is your general fund to use whatever you want to do. So I'm very glad that you guys get to do that. So reach out to your politicians and tell them that's important to you. There's also a small chance that the governor's budget may be, going in and tweaking with this, so if you get a chance, and I will let you guys know if I hear anything about the governor's budget that says anything about that. But, we're getting really excited about this. I'm not sure how long construction will take on that. My goal is this is open this year. Hopefully summer, my optimistic view, my realistic view would be late summer, early fall, so.
Now, if you would have already been in and open, would have that been grandfathered?
So it's, the tax part is going to be, when the voters passed issue 2 back in 2023, that is a general statute, it's not like a constitutional amendment like the
Gotcha.
casino was. So it can be changed anytime. If the representatives, legislative body wants to change it, they have that right.
So at this point, I'm gonna open the floor. If anyone has any questions for Brian, you may do so. You have a question?
Well, it's not really a question, but you're gonna have a lot of new customers over there coming from Westland Mall and from the new low-income apartment. Just thought I'd let you know that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I close the floor. Brian, thank you so much. If you wanna stay for the meeting, I know you're a busy man, you can, but if you wanna excuse yourself, you're more than welcome. And did the board have any questions? Okay.
And if you do, please reach out to me. Local law enforcement, I would like to talk to you a couple times before, get you guys through the facility before we open, but we're a long ways from that. So you guys don't walk into this place the first time when there is an emergency.
We'd
Hopefully.
like to. Yeah, we'd like to.
Hey,
Thank you.
Brian, I do have a question.
Yeah.
You have other locations, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, I've watched some YouTube videos, and, they're First Amendment people, and it seems like a lot of these places have security guards, like Allied Security and different people like that. Do you feel the need at your other locations to have
So-
security?
So the law the Ohio Administrative Code requires that we have a security person who goes through the private investigator security guard training. And what we do is we hire individuals that have a mind towards that work towards that, but we don't have an armed individual there. We try to go to places that we feel are safe enough that we can have just a person who watches out and then would make call to people who are fully trained to do this.
And
So-
then this relates back to what you said, and it'll go on, it'll be done, is that tax coming back to the township and we could do with it. These will be the same people that would be giving the protection, those tax dollars that are coming in. Our police department will be the ones that come and answer your calls.
Yeah.
You have a fire issue or an emergency issue, our fire department will be the ones that come and take care of your,
Yes.
customers and things like that. So it's like a partnership, correct?
Yes, it is. I guess I would say is, so far, knock on wood, the only thing that we've really had to deal with is false alarms. And most of them, what I've also found is that several times, the police have come to us because we have so many cameras in the building. They're like, down the street, this happened. Do you have good footage of that? And we've helped out and shown video footage of people stealing cars, to accidents, to, a homeless person that was an issue with, that they're questioning if there was foul play in another property, so.
I didn't wanna make it look like that there was any, that these are like people that do this for First Amendment rights, you understand, and they're filming, and that, I wasn't saying you'll have problems there, I wasn't on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that out there, I was
feel
curious if that's all part of it, because this
Yeah.
is all new to me whatsoever, so.
I feel like it's gonna be a good area. We make the building well lit, that people that are doing nefarious things know that it's well lit, and there's cameras.
Sure.
And there's people there. There's lots of panic buttons throughout the building, so even if there's a little bit of prevention, I think goes a long way.
Absolutely.
And what is your renovation cost you putting into it roughly?
It's really rough to know about numbers in 2025, because I feel like it just keeps getting more and more expensive as we go. But I'm gonna guess we're gonna be at $350,000 to $500,000 in renovations to this facility. We're gonna keep the basic footprint, but we're gonna add on a little bit to the drive-through area to add a second window in the drive-through. It's gonna come forward. But basically, that footprint should be very close to where we are now, minus that little bump out on the side. If you drive by it, you just come forward and cut that over. And we think that the drive-through also reduces on the chances for nefarious things happening. It makes it easier for the patients, the people who are immune compromised, handicapped, people like that. It makes it easy for them to get through and not have to deal with that.
Just like Walgreens or.
Yeah.
Do you have a drive-through in any of your other locations?
All of them, and 2 of them, we've added a second drive-through window
Nice.
because we're seeing that it's that much of the people, like, you know, it's easy, you put your order in beforehand, and then you're just basically coming, giving us your ID and your medical card if you're a medical patient. We check that, we show you what you've purchased, you make your payment, and then you're out the door. There's a new digital payment system, which we're really looking forward to, that makes it about a 30-second to 1-minute process to stop and pick up your medication / adult use marijuana.
So for me, I just wanted to.
Sure, I'm good.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brian. We
Thanks.
appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good one. I'll be back again, I'm sure.
Oh, I bet.
Just be safe, fella.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, County Spencer, your turn.
I just have one thing. Hello, everybody. Happy March.
Yeah.
All I have is something coming up, from the city, Saturday, March 8th, and it's the Affordable Housing Resource Fair. And it's, going to be held, from, let me read it, 10 to 2 at Huey
Park.
Elementary School. The event is free and open to the public, and, that's all I have.
Does the board have any
I
questions?
don't have anything, sir.
I'm gonna open the floor at this time, if anyone, from the audience has a question. Seeing none, I close the floor, and thank you very much for coming in and sharing that with you, and if.
Go ahead, I will leave that.
and Put that out.
Thank you, guys. You're welcome.
Yep. Okay. Who is the FCSO recorder? Franklin County. Hold up. Because underneath I had it.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees, Administrator, and Franklin Township residents. On behalf of Sheriff Dallas Baldwin, it's an honor to be here to share some information and answer any questions you might have. It's been a while since I've been to a meeting. Glad to say that I'm here because there's nothing controversial going on.
And that's
Because
good.
in the past, I've had to come and share information about runs to service, calls to service, and a great working relationship. So I can't emphasize enough as the patrol chief, if you weren't aware, I'm over the patrol division. So the MARC cruisers that come in and out of Franklin Township to assist the Franklin Township, your Franklin Township police officers, they all work for me. So I want to emphasize on behalf of Sheriff Baldwin and myself, we continue to have a great working relationship with Chief Smith, as well as Lieutenant Ratliff, all the supervisors, and all the officers at the Franklin Township Police Department. So, with that being said, I was in a meeting yesterday, God bless you. I was in a meeting yesterday with, we routinely, we have a monthly meeting with the Franklin County Chiefs Association, but then we also have quarterly meetings where, it's something that was spearheaded several years ago under previous Sheriff Scott and now Sheriff Baldwin, that we meet with just the township and the agencies for which the Franklin County Sheriff's Office dispatches for. So normally that's gonna be our townships with a couple exceptions with small village police departments and then the city of Obetz and the city of Groveport and the village of Minerva Park. But mostly it's the township police department, police chiefs that attend that meeting. We had a meeting yesterday morning up in Sharon Township that I attended. We are very excited to share that it's finally here, the availability to upgrade our computer-aided dispatching. The CAD has been in the works at the Sheriff's Office for going on 10 years now to switch to a updated CAD and switch from our previous CAD provider. What I would equate this to is if you've ever watched a documentary on somebody who, this is kind of bad to say, but somebody who gets out of prison after 25 years and then they go to their loved ones or go to their family and go, wait a minute, you can do all this now on an iPhone? When I went in, you know, you had a flip phone and all this other stuff. The resources that are gonna be available on our new CAD, our computer aided dispatching for the officers and deputies in the car is stuff that is kinda old, but is gonna be so brand new to our deputies and our officers, because the system we've had, a Band-Aid after a Band-Aid after a Band-Aid's been put on it, as we've been looking for a brand new way to handle the computers in the cars. And what I mean by that is the options and the availability and the information that will be state-of-the-art and brand new to the officers is stuff that's been out there for a while, but we've not been able to utilize it because we've been stuck with an old system that really has not provided a lot of resources in the car. So I know when you watch a lot of police shows, you see, any of the police shows you see how all this stuff can be done and they can do all this stuff with computers. We've not really had that technology in our cruisers, but we will after this new CAD gets established. So with that, the features that are gonna be on there are gonna be very in real time information that's gonna be provided, location of the cruisers, location of how far off the cars are coming, mapping, all that stuff's gonna be on such a resource in the cars. With all that being said, even we at the Sheriff's Office Patrol Division, we had to go get brand new laptops for our cars. So all of this runs on Windows 11, and I'm not a computer guy, but I know that all of our laptops needed to be switched out in our cruisers. We are still processing, as close as we are to the new CAD coming on board next month. We still have our IT folks that are out trying to swap out computers on our cruisers. In fact, my own car, I haven't swapped out a computer yet, because I said take care of the frontline cars first before you do mine. But we had to upgrade. Everything runs off of Windows 11. Like I said, I'm not a computer guy, but I know that Mifflin Township, as well as here in Franklin Township, it became an issue because of the need to upgrade. We didn't find out about this upgrade until a little bit after the first of the year, and then through our efforts, I was like, hey, how much do the townships and the villages for which we dispatch for, do they know about the need to upgrade? So I know down in Obetz, they were using a variation of an iPad tablet in their cars, and they've had to upgrade and switch out. So in sharing this information yesterday and having some discussions, that project was not underneath me. I'm kind of responding to making sure the proper equipment is in our cruisers. Every Franklin County Sheriff's cruiser has a laptop, but they've all needed to be switched out to upgraded laptops because of this Windows 11 push out that needed to take place. Like I said, I'm not a computer guy, but I know that that's something that the Franklin Township Chief and Lieutenant relayed to me, was there was an issue with their cars. So I just want to say this new system's going to be very state-of-the-art. It's going to be a great upgrade for us. Like I said, there's going to be stuff that our CAD can do that most agencies will be like just shocked that we weren't able to do that years ago. But our system was just so old, and like I said, a Band-Aid after Band-Aid was put on just to keep it going, so that we could have some type of CAD while we seek. It's been a long journey, very long journey, and a lot of political red tape on our end with the prosecutor's office and with purchasing to get our new CAD up and running. So it's been an ongoing project for 5 or 6 years, and it's finally here. We're finally going to roll it out next month, and training has taken place. Meetings have taken place with all of the chiefs to let them know. They've sent folks, and we've done like a train the trainer, so that somebody here in Franklin Township can train the officers and the supervisors as to how the new CAD's gonna work. But it's gonna streamline a lot of things. Sometimes it's tough to come in here and give you statistical data of how many runs we've had because of the old system that we've had. So with this new CAD, we're gonna be able to track better calls to service, response times. Our current CAD does not allow really for response times. Yes, the run goes out, but the dispatcher just enters in when somebody's on scene and saying things. This new CAD's gonna have the availability to touch screen and automatically put a car en route. And with the automatic vehicle locator, it's gonna assist dispatch right away with knowing somebody's on scene and who's on scene. And I know this is down in the weeds, but every time a Franklin Township officer marks in service, they have to give so much information about their radio ID, what equipment they might have in the car that's specific to them, and it can be very confusing. This new system's gonna have a profile. Every officer's gonna be entered into the profile, and the dispatcher can automatically, when one of your officers gets in, log onto the system, and the dispatcher say, officer, or 308, I have you in service, and there's no information that needs to be pushed out or tied up with the radio anymore about all the particular equipment information and all that. So a lot of it's gonna be very streamlined. Chief Smith will have access at 7 o'clock at night on his phone to to say, oh, okay, we have a fatal crash going on, and here are the notes, so that he can immediately be in touch with the trustees and let them know in real time what's going on. That's something that the old CAD has not had the availability to do for police administration, and that's something that the agencies will have now, so. But I can answer any other questions you may have, I think I covered it, but we all got a curveball thrown at us with this Windows 11 thing, and it caused our IT to have to swap out over 60 laptops in all of our cars, so it's been a work in progress to get done. Like I said, my car hasn't even been swapped out yet, because I tried to make it a priority for all frontline cars.
So I know that we're getting the new radios as well. I don't believe they ordered, I'm sorry?
Computers.
Computers. What did I say, new what?
You said radios.
New computers. We gotta get them up, but what happens with us rushing to get these because of late notice?
Well, there's gonna be a bridge of the old CAD with the new CAD. It's not gonna be, we're turning it off at 11 o'clock
Okay.
on this night and starting new. There's gonna be a little bit of a bridge.
Okay.
You may find, a couple of your cars, if they're not upgraded, will be working off the old system, which will still log everything, and guys can still log on, but, we'd like to try to get everybody all the equipment converted over in a short time period, so they can turn the old system on. But there is a little bit of a bridge, to work with those, and I know the Mifflin Township Chief yesterday was gonna start working to figure that out too. Like, the Windows 11 thing was kind of something that was thrown on us, I don't know computers. I guess you could equate it to like your iPhone always wants an update or some software update, and somebody's like, oh, did you know your phone could do this now with that software update that's got pushed out, so. But, the new computers are the new CAD's gonna be, like I said, a great resource, so much easier. Like right now, I know a lot of our guys right now either carry a GPS, their own GPS, the old style GPS, or use their phone to put an address in. And, now when the run goes out, it's gonna pop up and give you the route. There's some interactive back and forth when we run a car. These guys know this alert thing goes off in the car, and it's very annoying because anytime somebody runs into somebody that's got a warrant or a stolen car, this alert comes out, and the Franklin Township guys get an alert because a car over in, Mifflin Township has an alert on a car. Well, it's important if 20 minutes from now that car is we're in a pursuit of that car and it's coming towards Franklin Township, but we'll have the availability in the CAD to turn those alerts off. It'd be geographically specific, so that a Franklin Township guy gets an alert if it's a West Side car, something of interest that is in his area. You can't do that now. It alerts all the time, and it can become very annoying because you want the alert when it's your partner that's a few blocks away that has a stolen car or a person wanted, but it's not that important if it's 45 minutes away on the other side of the county. So this new system's going to be very user friendly, set up for it's going to be really nice, and it's going to really be a huge resource and impact in a positive way the safety of the officers here in Franklin Township.
So will it also tell you, like, when people are rushing from in different directions, you can see before you enter an intersection that possibly that someone's coming from another way?
I don't know if it's gonna you'll be able to, the way it's gonna work is, if 3 of my cars get sent with a Franklin Township car on a run, the computer automatically will populate those cars and where those cars are at, which will be helpful because many times in here when I've had to address the residents before, we have multi-township responsibilities. Some of our cars could be coming from a couple townships away or from pretty far off. And that can happen sometimes at shift change. So if a major priority 1 call goes out, your township officers will now be able to, if on a run with the deputies, see where those deputies are coming from, which I think is a huge safety issue because if I have a deputy coming from Alum Creek and Freebus where our substation is at shift change, and the 2 on-duty Franklin Township cars get on scene and they realize their backup's coming from 15 minutes away, running lights and sirens, the quicker they know that, the quicker they can assess, hey, slow that car down or you can cancel that car. Sometimes our deputies will show up 5-10 minutes later and the officers will be like, hey, I got busy talking to this person, I didn't realize how far off you were. So it does enhance safety, and it will allow the township officers to see if our deputies are on a run with them, where they're coming from. So it also will be beneficial. That automatic vehicle locator will be very beneficial on situations where we have barricades or serious situations like we have to shut a roadway down for a fatal crash investigation. You'll be able to tell, the dispatcher will be able to tell where those deputies are. So for scene accountability, it's gonna be beneficial for the supervisors as well as, and again, for Chief Smith, you know, if he gets called at home and him or Lieutenant Ratliff have to come in for a critical incident in township, you know, that information, sometimes when we make a phone call or the comm center calls, the comm center's not out there, not really able to give that much information. But the chief and the lieutenant as the administrators, now this isn't for all, there's so many licensing set aside for each agency, but they'll be able to quickly on the phone assess what's going on in real time. So that's a huge benefit that right now the CAD doesn't allow for.
So I know the fire department has, you know, the closest piece of equipment. They could be cleared coming back from Mount Carmel or somewhere else, and there's someone 2 blocks away having a heart attack. So you guys could be, say, sitting on Wilson and Broad, and all of a sudden get a call that a business is, you know, in Franklin Township, a house is being broke into, or et cetera, and you're only 1 block away, so they're
Right.
gonna notify the closest piece of.
So the dispatcher will
officer.
probably turn that run out and say, 33, I see you're right at Wilson and Broad, you're just a few seconds off. 33 in Franklin Township, I've got this coming in. So yes,
Yeah, that's
yes, the
good.
dispatcher will be able to see the closest car.
You know, cause I'm sure there's been many a times that I know, I can't remember who I was with, but I was out with our police and, there was a shooting and it happened, as you go up Wilson Road, and there's apartments to the right, a gentleman shot his girlfriend and the mother, and we just happened to go by and didn't even know, and as soon as we got to the bottom of the hill, Columbus and everyone else was going the other way, and then we got the call last. So we don't know what would have happened had we been, you know, in this case, you would have been a lot closer. They eventually caught the guy, but they had the description of the truck and stuff like that.
So if Lieutenant Ratliff's on a run right now and he comes on the radio and says, hey, start me some more cars. Right now, if I as Chief 1 say, Chief 1, put me on that call with them, I get the run, but I don't have, I don't have the particulars. There's certain things that you can see. This new system allows everybody to see the dashboard, so to speak, and to get more particulars. Where it's also beneficial too is, we have what's called house checks. So, if you are on vacation and you want, we do it at the sheriff's office, I believe Franklin Township does it. That information is pushed out, but the availability, in the past, if we put something on a premise history and an alert on a residence or an address, sometimes those are old, sometimes those, they don't fall off. So the new system's gonna allow for data entry to take place and then have a supervisor be able to put, hey, this is for 30 days, hey, this is for 60 days, hey, this is, you know, so it falls off. The other information is when a Franklin Township officer marks in service, they're testing this feature out today, actually. Be on the lookout, it's called a BOLO. So if, let's say there was a bank that got robbed today on Harrisburg Pike. So that information gets relayed today at 1:30. Your car's coming on at 3 if it's been a busy day and the township officers forget to, at roll call, say, hey, you know, this bank got robbed, here's what we're looking for. When people log in now, they're able to check the BOLOs. And again, it's GO2 to the specific area. So they can look at, not to say that a bank robbery in Mifflin Township's not important, but it's not that important for Franklin Township cars unless it's like, you know, but it's geoed so that they can come on. And I've always said this, how can you get on your phone and on Facebook and cruise and see what your neighbors and your friends are all doing on Facebook? But as a police officer coming on duty, you can't see what happened in the last week. So the BOLO area of the CAD will allow the officers, when they come on duty, to check previous shifts. And Franklin Township officers can post information and leave it on there. Like, hey, uptick in car break-ins in this neighborhood, the last 2 days, we've taken a lot of reports, don't have that much information, but be on the lookout for any suspicious activity. We've taken 4 or 5 reports, so that can all be put into the CAD. So not only for the sheriff's deputies, but also in and out of Franklin Township, but the officers coming back from vacation or off of training or anything like that will have an area in the CAD to look at that information where it's gonna be stored. And again, it's time certain. It can be in there for 30 days, it can be in there for just the next couple shifts, and they'll be able to have an area to share more information in regards to crime patterns and vehicles wanted, subjects wanted, and we don't have that right now in our CAD. You literally log on and you don't know what occurred yesterday. This new CAD will have the availability to do that as well.
All right, thank you so much. To the board members, do you have any questions? I'm gonna open the floor for any
Yes.
brief questions anyone in the audience may have.
Okay, I know you said you had 60 cars, you have to do that too. We have 13, 12, 13.
13.
Will all of our cars get them?
Well, that's what we're gonna talk about today, I think at some point. I know that it's like $64,000 for all of our cars to have them. We looked at starting off with 8. I don't know, I have questions in regards to that when the lieutenant comes up. I need to find out, okay, I thought we had a PO, did we not get moving on it, but we'll find out in a minute.
I don't think it's his.
Yeah,
place to
that's
answer
right,
that question in the first place.
So,
Yeah.
does anyone else have any other questions?
And to be, 60 cars assigned to patrol, we probably had to swap out closer to 130. Because we have civil car, we have other,
Right.
marked cars in
Right.
patrol are just underneath my area of responsibility. We have other marked cars that had to get the upgrade too, so I know it was pretty costly, but, it was necessary, so the computers were kinda outdated anyways, very slow processing as well.
Okay.
I absolutely understand everything about the computer, but before you leave the podium, I wanna let you know that your officer Atkins that comes here and
Yes,
goes
Dennis.
with us, that he is greatly appreciated, and he does a wonderful job. Many times people will get a hold of you and tell you how bad people do.
Yes.
But I have the opportunity to be the
Thank
guy to
you all.
tell you
Yes.
I
that
will
your
pass it on to
officer
him.
does a wonderful job, and he's greatly appreciated here at Franklin Township.
Thank you, okay, I'll
Yes,
pass that
sir.
on to him, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we have a question
Yes,
in the
ma'am.
back.
Can I include Fahey on that?
Yep,
Because,
Detective
yeah.
Fahey handles our environmental
Yeah.
crimes, yes, absolutely.
They're
I'll make sure I
both
send their
top
their
notch.
direct supervisors a nice email when I leave.
Wonderful.
Yeah, they
Those
both
are
do a
top
fantastic
notch.
job for us.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank
The floor is now closed.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate it.
No.
I know.
Yep, that's exactly what we want. We're gonna move on to the public comments. Remember that you get 3 minutes to speak, we won't interrupt you, and then we may have questions afterwards that may obtain, longer, which is not calculated. So first up, sir, who do we have?
Wendell Johnson, 1771 Bellmead.
Now you can get up and speak. Come on up here, sir, to the podium if you'd like. Just asking you to give your name and address if you don't mind.
My name's Wendell Johnson, I live on Bellmead.
Okay, Wendell.
I'm a resident of the community, I grew up, 11 of us grew up on Brown and Brandsburg, been in the community, Franklin Heights, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, my issue is springs in the air, we already got the dirt bikes, we already got the four-wheelers running up and down the damn streets, running through the stop signs that the taxpayers put up, that's done no good. I haven't seen one ticket on Bellmead, an officer pull somebody over for running a stop sign.
Okay.
The elderly people on my street are afraid to back out of driveways, half of them can't see right anyhow. I'm 75, but I'm still able to get in and out of driveway. You never know when one of these kids is gonna hit your car and maybe kill them, and there you are. So I just wonder, I know that you have a lot of area to cover. But my concern is from Frank Road to Central Point. That's where I grew up, and that's where I live. And there's still 3 of us that live in the neighborhood out of the 11. Most of them moved to Grove City area and stuff. I'd just like to see a little bit more patrolling. Just run up and down the street a couple of times a day. You know, down, Hopkins is terrible. It's a drag strip. The lady that lives on the corner of, Shady Lane and Hopkins, she's like, man, since they put them stop signs up there, it's a damn drag strip. And I live on Bellmead and I can just hear, I mean, I've got a drag car, I drag race, but I load on the trailer, I go to the racetrack. They're always over there. I don't know how many bad accidents have been on that corner. I know there's not enough I mean, you got a lot of area. You go clean out the Trayview Road, you got Lincoln Village.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of officers, I understand that.
Sure.
Just make a pass or two, you know, down the streets, let them know, hey, you're being watched. Maybe sit, you know, back up, sit, they run a stop sign, write a ticket, let everybody know, you're gonna get a ticket if you run a stop sign. There's gonna be a terrible accident, probably this spring or summer, of these kids on dirt bikes, four-wheelers, running up down the street on the back wheels. I'm out in the alley last spring, My alley's a dead end alley, so I'm kinda glad it is, cause they don't have any travel. Dirt bikes on the back wheels, throwing gravel. People's got automobiles, it's nice. So I just wanted to just bring up that issue.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for coming in. Now it's our turn to ask a couple questions. Can you give us any idea of what addresses those, and you don't have to mention it here today, or if, are you able to let us know what addresses those motorcycles and ATVs are coming from?
I'm sure you've been called out on them. Down at Roland and Bellmead, there's a couple of houses along there. They used to deal in drugs, and in fact, one died of, that fentanyl right along there. That's between my house, Shady Lane, and 3C, it's not too bad. From the other way, east to Brown Road, it's terrible.
Okay. Are you aware of this?
That's what I was gonna say. Thanks for telling us, but like you said, there are limited numbers of us. We have a dedicated traffic car, okay? And they work these speed complaints, but we need to know before we can assign them to it. We have on our website, there's report speeders and there's report crimes and stuff. Then when you see these kind of things, or if you have any information that you can gather and pass on to me, I'll go ahead and make sure
Yeah.
our traffic car gets, notice that he needs to come over there and give you
Well,
some attention, okay?
Is there a time frame? That helps us a lot too.
Well, half of these kids don't go to school. They're running up and down the street during the day, I'm like, damn, don't
Yeah.
they go to school?
For real.
You know, growing up on Brown Road, all of us, 11 of us, we couldn't ride a dirt bike
So after 3
and
o'clock.
do it at. We all went to school.
Yeah.
I don't understand the parents, you know.
But I can guarantee you I'll get my car out there. I'll tell my traffic car, and he'll be out there.
Yeah.
He's off the rest of this, he's on vacation this week.
Well,
So next week you'll see him.
Yeah, I asked the one little gal that was, one of the officers, I don't know
Molly?
if she's still on the force or not.
No, she's not.
She's sitting down at, Roland one day on the stop sign. I said, what are you doing, looking for speeders running a stop sign? She said, no, we're looking for such and such or such and such. I said, if you just back up there a little bit, you can make all the money you want. You can
Yeah.
make all the money you want.
We don't make a lot of money on them, I
Well, I
don't think
understand.
out there, but we do wanna stop the speed, period. So as long as we have to use our traffic car according to the complaints we get. And if it's, people don't come in like you are right now, we don't know. But don't wait till it gets you to a point where you're aggravated, and I
Well, I'm
get it.
just afraid one of these kids, and they're young kids.
No, I get it.
Not only that, there's adults.
I want
on these
everybody to
dirt
know,
bikes.
that you don't wait till you're aggravated, call us, cause
Yeah.
we get guys, don't tell us things, next thing they're out there trying to get in front of the quad, or throw something at the quad, and we end up with
No,
issues.
no, it's-
Another thing we gotta run into is our prosecutor, we get behind one of those, we hit the lights, they all run, and because they're a four-wheeler and they're not protected, they're unprotected, we're not allowed to chase them. If we do, and they hit someone and dies, we're gonna have world
Well, I
trouble.
understand that
Yeah.
part, that's what I'm
I
saying.
hate that, I hate
These
it.
young kids, if one of these elderly people back out on Bellmead, and they hit it, kill them, then, they get a problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, just, I know
We will.
I know you got a lot of area to cover.
Well, no, I'll get
But
you
just once in a
taken care of.
while, I sit on my front porch every day, I'm retired.
Yeah, we'll get them out
I
there
never
for
see
you.
police officers run up and down our street. You
Well-
just gotta let them know, hey, you're being watched, and don't quit this shit.
I'll get you some attention.
Not only that, we got automobiles, 6 and 8 automobiles in the yards, people working on cars, jacked up in their yards. I mean,
Yeah, I can't.
I've been around here all my life, and right now, I'm at the verge of moving and getting the heck out. I really don't want to.
We can't come on private property coming up from their cars, us. I think that Mr. Mazur and, Nicole, if you tell them where you've got the trash cars in the yards and things like that, they might be able to deal with it.
But I'm sure if you write a few stop sign
We will.
tickets in the community right in that area, of course, Brown Road's a mess.
It'll be next week.
It's a
Well, we
mess.
thank you for coming in and letting us know.
Okay.
Stop back,
Yeah.
please,
Come
stop
back
back.
and let us know
Yes.
how it's
We're,
going.
we're here every 2 weeks, give us a month and
Yeah.
stop back and give us a report,
Yeah,
okay?
give us an update.
Are
Thank
you
you.
related to the Blevins that grew up on Geneva?
No, I know the
Okay.
family, but it's not the same.
But
so-
we all went to school together, I
Sure.
was wondering.
Now, I was you, sitting right where Mary's sitting 7 years ago, exact same complaints you have. And now that winds me up here, and I can tell you that everything you're talking about is something that's talked across this board a lot, and we are working on it. Just like due to this board is the reason that he has the, traffic thing. So it is something, and I really mean it when I say to you, when you come back in 30 days and tell us, let's hold their feet to the fire, tell us that you have seen a pickup in police cruisers in your neighborhood. 30 days, come back in 2 meetings. Please, or I'll stop by your house, hell, I don't care.
I called a few elderly people that live on Bellamy that I've known for years. I said, you wanna go down to the meeting? And I was scared to go down there.
I understand.
I'm scared to go down there cause
No,
these kids
but
on
we-
the street, it's just like Butch. He said, man, the other day you wasn't here, he said there was 20 of them.
Yeah.
Walk from Brown Road up Bellamy, they go down to Dollar General and they fill their pockets. And they go back down Bellamy. They won't use pockets, they use the dumper. Oh, another thing. What about some streetlights?
Well, on streetlights, if you have, and we gotta get moving, but I'll mention this.
I usually do too.
Streetlights, if you wanna put your own light up, if there's a pole there, I think it's like $7 a month, you could have your
Oh,
own.
I do pay for one in the alley.
Right,
But
so
I'm talking about
we,
Bellamy.
right, we do not have a lighting district being a township. You know, like you heard the gentleman that was here, from, the Kansas place. That's gonna bring in some revenue, significant revenue.
Yeah.
The more businesses that we are working with in that corridor area of Westville Mall, we can then use that money to create a district, but we'll have to look at what that looks like and the cost and stuff. But at this time, Franklin Township doesn't have a lighting district.
Well, you know, you got Shady Lane and you got Roland. If there was a street light, and there's electric there,
Sure.
there's electric pole there. If you had a street light there and there to light that street up a little bit. I came home the other night, I come home late every night, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I pull my driveway, first thing I do is I walk out to check my mail. I was approached by a black guy, walking from Brown Road. I thought, oh no, what the hell am I gonna do with this? Got any cigarettes? No, I don't smoke. You got any loose change I can have? I said, no, I don't. I never know when I'm gonna get knocked in the back of the head, walking up to my house again, and I live here by myself. It'd be nice if we had just a couple streetlights.
Right, okay,
They're using Bellmead a lot. They won't use Hopkins because they'll get ran over.
sure,
They use Bellmead. And you know the apartments on Brown Road, how much trouble you had down there.
right.
They renovated them, they already got them tore all to hell. That IGA, the old IGA, they're on the corner of Hopkins, a lot of trouble there.
Yeah.
I stay away. I actually go to Grove City, buy my groceries and buy my gasoline.
I understand.
Alrighty, thank
So I thank you for coming in and we got to keep
We
moving.
got Dwight Johnson, Clinton, Geneva.
Hey, you gotta voice your opinion, that's what the men are here for.
Yep, you're fine. Okay, who's next?
Who's next is Brenda Fowler, 3350 Brookside Boulevard.
Did we have someone before her? Did they?
No.
Oh, okay.
I said Dwight, we called him and he never came up.
I think it's him.
He's right here.
Oh, come on up.
Okay, let me come
I thought we were
I
gonna
was
skip
trying-
over someone.
That's my brother there, I ain't gonna try to
Okay,
talk.
no worries. It's just that everyone
I
gets.
appreciate all the officers.
Yeah.
The fire department, I live on Geneva Avenue, he probably knows a lot about Geneva Avenue. But lately, we have got a lot of speeders going down Geneva. You know, it's kind of where you come on down Jackson and go around, a lot of them come down through there, usually during traffic time. Because they're going about all heading out towards Grove City. They'll try to cut that corner and go around there to about where CVS is. That's my main problem. What I wanted to ask is, the stop sign at Jackson and 3C. You guys already replaced probably about 15 stop signs in the last year. Is there any way you're trying to find out who's running over that stop sign? And is that the county's problem to replace the stop sign, or is it the city's?
Okay, is that
Right
it?
there by the pizza place.
Okay, yeah. I'm just letting you talk before we shut the clock off, because we don't charge you, well, I shouldn't say charge. Everyone gets 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted you to get everything out
Too
before
much
we
time,
start.
didn't I? Yeah, oh, okay, yeah. And that's, the stop signs are concerned, trash cars, the trash, people, you know about the home just got on fire down the street from me. Now, we got the place right behind my house that's like a junkyard back in there, that's had offices there, fire department there, we had a fire twice last year. You know, nobody knows what's going on, you know, after you talk to the officials about this. I know you've been to my house.
I have, I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you that.
I think you've been to my house once, you know, but how do you find out what the outcome is of this situation? You know, the junkyard behind me, during the summer, you smell the fuel, you smell the oil, and I mean, you know, just wanted to know about that, and I
Okay.
didn't know.
Okay, so one of the things that I can start off with, we
Is my
don't
time
have.
up?
No, stay there, your time's up, you got it out, but we can now, you know, I don't wanna interrupt your questions in the 3 minutes you have,
Oh,
but I'm gonna answer some of them.
Sure.
So one of the things, Captain Breaker, he's not, is he on today? He's not here.
He's not in here.
If you've got to get a hold of the fire department and you, wanna talk to the captain, and he can give you an update where we are, because it's continuing going through environmental court. Environmental court seems to be moving pretty slow.
Okay.
The other problem is, part of that is in the city, the other part is in the township, or in the county. So, you know, it's jurisdiction, a lot of it, and trying to get this to work out. On the speeding, I'm sure that we can add that to the
Yeah,
list, and we
okay.
know roughly the time frame from probably 3 to 5 range, where they cut through real quick and then try to make a right and keep on going. So we can definitely look into that, and a lot of the junk cars and stuff like that, we've been, monitoring those, and we turn those over to Franklin County zoning. We don't have, anything that we personally can do, meaning Franklin Township, other than if it's a car that is so many years, and if it's up on blocks and there's no tags, inoperable, then we have a process that we can do to remove those. But if you know where we are now, Nicole is the young lady that sits in the office in there.
Right.
So if you have some addresses with junk cars and stuff, just jot them down and come up and give them to her. And, then we can get it to Franklin County and see what we can do.
That sounds good.
Okay,
I don't
thank
wanna
you.
give you bad information, but I believe that property is, the last time I talked to Todd, might be being sold. You have any knowledge? No, it's not true?
I don't know.
No, I was talking to,
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
okay, so I just wanna, and I'll check up on that myself, but please come back in 30 days and visit us again and give us an update on if you see any, cruisers in your neighborhood, and bring in some of those
Well,
things.
the fire chief stopped in my house a couple of times.
Okay, great.
Real nice gentleman.
Okay, well,
I appreciate
I
it.
appreciated that.
Okay.
Oh, the last
Can
one,
I
the
add
stop
something?
sign. Let me just finish him, sir. The stop sign is, I've fought that for years. Actually, Randsburg is down this morning. My Randsburg, right behind. Our sign is down today. It's ongoing. I'm celebrating that it's been up as long as it has been, this sign. But it's an ongoing fight.
Well, why
So,
don't they put a little camera right there on that pizza place?
you know,
Are we able to put that up? Or is it?
I don't know, thanks, gentlemen.
okay, thank you. Go ahead, James.
You had a quick
Can I
question?
add, what about speed humps?
We cannot allow
We're not allowed
to.
to.
Don't put any in.
Yeah, city
When I
clubs.
go out to Obet's, I got friends that lives in Obet's, they
Yeah.
get speed humps and stuff.
Yeah, some
I mean, it
places
was
do,
funny.
but we're in, you gotta remember, Franklin Township is in Franklin County, and Franklin County doesn't
Of
allow
course,
those.
the motorcycle guys, they would love that anyhow,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, moving on to the next one.
Brenda. 3350 Brookside Boulevard. I'm sorry I called you twice. Or, yeah, Brookside Boulevard.
It's okay. So anyway, I'm extremely disappointed with the auditor state.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they could just say, it's okay.
Get along.
Yeah. I am gonna be filing another affidavit, and I will be tying it together. To refute the, what they came back and said, because they pretty much said it was y'all's fault. And to a degree it is, because you made a resolution to, not allow her in the building. And, but, with that being said, her fault because she refused to work with one person at the table. And, you know, it all ties together, especially when she said, no, I'm not signing crap. You know, so, anyway, I just want you guys to know I'm gonna be filing another affidavit.
You got it.
Also, I'd like to, let you know about my EPA and how all the woods behind my house and the wetlands is gone. And, Representative Bill, I'm gonna mess up his name, Bill McGowan maybe, or
Just go on.
Demora, Bill Demora. His office is trying to shut that down. They did not get a permit to alter the wetlands. So they have vowed to be very consistent in getting remediation and fines for Kittle Property Group. And, you know, I have a lot of other city officials and things that work for Ginther's office even fighting this, so, anyway, I just wanna let you guys know kind of what was going on up there, and I guess they went and tore down a bunch of, stuff over on Britton, Shirley Street, and, just destruction of the township. Done.
Thank you. Shirley, I'm gonna ask a question you asked me. Ryan, on Britain, they've got a lot of the flags going down Britain, and they're going, where they're looking for the gas lines and et cetera, looking off.
Yeah.
From my understanding, from what I've been told is, they're planning on putting sanitary sewers in. Eve, is that on Britain as well?
It's on Britain and Chippewa both, and they're
Okay,
supposed to, the Hague, they're supposed to start on the 3rd.
So, was that in place prior to the property adjacent from it being sold behind Fairweathers? Does that have any connection whatsoever?
I went to a meeting, they were talking like it did.
Okay,
Yes.
so are they going to then connect across Wilson, are they gonna cut across over to the new apartments and utilize that, or do you know?
I'm not positive. I'm not
I didn't
sure.
know how they were going to go up and down through there.
I would say so, but I'm not sure.
Shirley, is there any questions you may have for him?
Yes, are they putting the gas and the water on the same side? Because like my gas line is running across the street into my neighbor's driveway. And if they do that without anybody knowing, cause I did call 811 and I asked them, they said no, that they weren't putting any gas lines in. They just put them yellow flags there because they wanted 18 inches from, they did say, the sewer. They said, the water company said they're putting a sewer through there, but nobody let anybody know on my street. Nobody said anything, and they told me it had to be 18 inches on each side, the gas. They had to let them know where that gas line, but they were put in the 50s. Then the water and the gas, them pipes was put in the 50s. And they come in and put all those units in with all that gas and stuff, they're gonna blow us up.
I think one thing, having the flags and stuff, at least they know where the gas lines are to stay away from them, because even the fire department, is that correct, that they need to mark that to where, they dig a safe distance away from that?
Yeah, you have to cite it.
Well, is the water and the gas on the same side?
I can't answer that.
Can't answer that.
I'm not sure.
Wherever they wanna put it, really.
Yeah, I mean,
They're the professionals.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank
You
you.
have something to say before I do it. So, yes, we did pass a resolution that said she couldn't come in this building, but I just wanted to be put out there, and you already know this, but we're doing it for the camera, that we also gave her alternative places to work in the township. So to use the excuse that I couldn't do my job, that's doesn't work. So that's all I'm gonna say about it, let's move on.
John, can I answer the thing about the sewage?
Yeah, just 2 seconds. On what Mike was saying, I sat here and for the camera and et cetera, because she watches these, we've invited her, I mean, I spent a lot of time, and actually we passed a motion, addendum, if you would,
Yeah.
to that resolution that she could be here for every meetings, that she was not going to work here because of a hostile work environment that was caused by that. But, you know, you asked to do the job. You asked to be voted for. And you're gonna tell me that, oh, I can't do my job because X, Y, and Z? If it was me, I'd be kicking the door in, coming in and doing my job. No one's gonna tell me that I can't work and do what the people are elected me to do. And, you know, if they said you're gonna work over here, because the physical officer has the ability by law to work at home. We do not have to provide her a place to work. But the trustees want to provide her a place to work that is off-site from here. So to get emails saying, or text messages, for the fire department, our fire department is, you know, very important. You don't wanna have dry hydrants like we've seen in California and et cetera, et cetera. But to send a text message that says, F no, I am not gonna sign F in anything, because we needed a signature so that it could be put on the ballot for the people to vote on. So to me, you're handicapping the trustees, the board, and everyone that gets paid. So to me, dereliction of duty, you just don't wanna do your job. You could be here today, you know, I don't get it. But anyways, go ahead and answer that question.
I talked to Ryan Stowe about that with Franklin County Engineering. They're putting new sewage lines in from El Paso to Trayview and down Breton. The apartments are not using Franklin County water and sewage.
Okay.
They will be using City of Columbus.
Was it gonna go down Trade
Yes, it's going all the way,
They
to
don't
Scioto
have-
Woods.
They
Well,
don't have any.
Yeah,
access.
like, how are they putting it down to Scioto Woods?
got it, hang on, it's important here.
And I thought maybe they'd connect to Raymond Golf Course, but I don't see any flags up there. They've got them all down on Britain.
Yeah, and I was,
Well, I think that
That's the
project.
county, the other, Trayview will be a different project by the city of.
Right, that'll be by midsummer, you'll
But
see it, because.
Ryan Stowe said that they were putting the sewage lines into Scioto Woods.
So, I don't know. Probably to tap on.
Yeah.
That's
And
what,
what, put City of Columbus
City of
lines in
Columbus,
there too?
well, I don't know where it all goes to the same place.
Because the new apartments for Upland there on Trayview where Fairweathers is, that's gonna be City of Columbus water and sewer. I
Yeah.
already inquired about
Right,
that.
right.
But the sewers going in on Britain will be county.
Right,
Just like-
correct.
Just like the rest of us have.
Right, but it all
We
goes
don't
to the
have-
same place.
We don't have water.
Well,
We have just sewer. And like she and I only have sewer, we don't have water.
okay, well, a lot of the township has sewer and water.
Yeah. Okay, so
Thank you.
we're, moving on to police department. Chief Smith is not here, Lieutenant. Floor is yours.
doing?
Pretty good.
To go along with what I'm saying today.
I'd rather read them anyhow,
Yeah, there you go.
saves time. Oh, we're gonna look at walking.
Yeah, I got a few things that I wanted to go with you guys on. One is our status, which is pretty normal. We had our runs, now that we have a full crew almost, actually, the guys, our runs have been starting to go down a little bit. We've had 772 runs for service in February. 13 assist other units, 5 burglaries, 4 overdoses, 74 auto crashes, a robbery, 36 domestics, 5 alcohol-related calls, 5 fights and assaults, 20 thefts, 1 person with a gun, 9 shots fired in the area, 8 stolen vehicles, 4 recovered vehicles, 9 suicide or suicide attempts, 4 vandalisms, 2 threats or harassment, 56 alarm drops, 2 mentals, 114 suspicious person or cars, 5 violation of protection orders. Total of 109 traffic stops, 96 citations issued and or arrests, 50 reports taken, and 41 impounded vehicles.
Very good job.
And then, hey, it goes up when the runs go down, the rest goes up. So, I also want to remind you guys that here about 8 months ago, we reached out to the state. The state was moving their radio system off of the, state highway patrol system, and I was able to get, well, it was like 35 walkies. If you look at the first blue form inside here, this is to show you that as of the beginning of this year, all the walkies that we had are obsolete. As of December 31st, they no longer will service them, and they will no longer make cards for them. But fortunately, we took those, that's the walkies, that's the pamphlet for the walkies that we got for free. We spent about $2,900 or $3,500 to have the dual authentication link layer put in. That's a requirement by July, or the radios would have went dead on the other ones. And because we were able to put 17 of them into service, we saved the township a total. And I went to Oil and Cannon, who supplies these walkies, got a price of what each walkie would cost us. So we're not coming to you for $71,400 in walkies. We actually have our own
Good.
that we got for free. And then I wanted to answer any questions if you had it about the, that's the reason why we asked Chief Gilbert to come in, because I thought to myself, I came to the board asking for a large amount of equipment here, which is the laptops, without actually talking to you guys ahead of time and maybe giving you a demonstration and telling you, because of the time constraints that I was under, I wanted to let you guys know what it is that, you know, my plan, what I wanted to do in the cards itself first, and then answer any questions about software, because I've had to communicate with Revolution Group and the IT with the county, and also an outside agency that's just a civilian agency. So I'm gonna show you this is our laptop. I know, a lot of money for these things. Anything police.
They're abused quite frequently.
Do you see this here? When you look at this comes off. This is the only thing that I'm replacing. I'm not asking you to replace this, because it says 8 months of, still has 8 months of warranty on it, that I can get them repaired. And then inside the cars, there are poles that are installed by PAR. And then there's a docking station that this clips into that has the antenna installed into it, and it has the power that keeps it powered, okay? I'm not having to replace this. The only thing that I'm asking to replace are only this part here, because this is the part that can't take the Windows 11 that the chief was talking about. So I needed to make sure you guys knew that I wasn't, you know, the prices that I'm giving you is not for an entire install, or I'm not, you know, I'm trying to salvage anything that I can keep in the car, or anything that I can keep without spending any money on.
I got a question right
Go
there.
ahead.
So unclicking that from that station that's in your car
Yeah.
all the time, is it as easy as that in your car?
Yeah,
You just unclick it like that,
Yeah.
and pull that out?
yeah.
Okay.
So, obviously, you can see in here how this is made.
After a while, that's gonna
Well,
last.
Yeah, so, and it's got these little plastic connectors here. That's one of the reasons why I was actually wanting to replace all of them if I was able to. I don't wanna talk about that part, okay, that's your guys' decision in the background. I have to give you my part of it. And he also explained to you about the profiles that we have to put together for each car and for each officer. So,
I've never heard about profile for each officer.
the chief.
Until today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The chief said that I wanted you guys to hear it from him, because it's his system, and he could explain it a lot better than I can. But each car, I would have to make a profile in the system, and I'd make a profile for each officer, which would show things like, let's say the guy has a less lethal beanbag rifle in the car. It's kind of cool the way the system comes together. And we have a situation where we need the beanbag, they could just look it up on, you know, see who it is that has the beanbag rifle. It also puts our walkie IDs associated to each car, so that when the guy goes to log in, he'll do 309 in service, he's in. Doesn't have to say anything about what his walkie ID is, doesn't have to say what his badge number is, it doesn't say anything like that. So it makes it a little bit more convenient, but I just wanted to point it out to you that I'm not trying to get a whole entire system, but I'm only trying to get just what I have to get, and that is it. Any other questions?
On that?
Go ahead, sir.
No, go,
Sure.
I'm curious, we're talking about that right now, but,
Yes.
the beanbag, shotguns, right, that fire the beanbag. So are those out on every shift?
Yes.
So, but we only bought 3 of them, correct? So so where are they're kept in the modular and in each shift, when they go out, they take them?
Yes.
Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
So one question is for the board. We originally passed a resolution to buy for not to exceed $65,000 for 13 or 14 of these. I can't remember if we bought one extra. Then we started looking at reducing those to 8. No action has been taken yet, Mr. Mazur. Have we nothing's been ordered, or where are we at with the resolution?
I did have one quick thing to point out.
Okay.
The quote that I gave you, which was about $60,000, they hadn't taken out taxes, so I got a new quote that has the tax out because we're a government agency. Plus, Panasonic is going to give us a check back for individuals. If we buy this many, they will, what they call it, LE clean each one, because you have to clean those, wipe them. And that's usually about $200 to do. And then they're going to resell those laptops and give us a check back. So it's gonna be lower. I don't know what, I can't tell you how much it's gonna sell for, but it will be lower than that. It's gonna be lower than probably $50,000.
Profile to the car, profile to the officer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Each unit. Okay, so when, God forbid, we have a car get in a wreck and that car is down and out.
I would have to change the profile.
So it's doable, correct?
Yes, I'd go and change the profile saying that
So
so-and-so.
no
that car
fault
was-
of our own,
Yeah.
we're one car short of the people we have.
Well, it doesn't have to be one per
No,
person.
I'm just trying, it doesn't have to be one per person.
No, I can actually do a first shift car that would have that 309 would have a profile that show first
Okay.
shift, that all sits in here, second shift, that all sits in here.
That interesting.
So
Yeah.
But with that computer, if you don't mind me saying, the profile, that tablet, like in a perfect world, you would think, okay, I have 8 tablets, we're not replacing the base, we can just move that tablet around.
And that's
You
that's.
can't really do that because each tablet is named, and the IT department, the sheriff's office, named that computer itself 309. Let's
Yeah, they
say
do
car
do that.
309. So that is only assigned to 309, and so it's like just mirrored to that car. So when I log in, it's gonna say 309. If I go to another cruiser, it's not gonna say 309, because that computer itself is assigned to that car, and it's gonna mirror everything. So I see what you're thinking, maybe potentially, that you could move the tablet part to the base, but it won't sync up to
Okay.
the specifics.
Go ahead. No, I got my answer, so. I got my answer.
So,
We only need 8 of them.
looking at I did a little math while we were going at, if we get about $250, I don't know what they would sell
That's
for.
probably what it's gonna be about.
We're looking at $3,200. And we're looking at saving, because before we could sell them on .gov and et cetera, we would have to wipe them, and we would probably pay $200 a piece, so that would be another 3,000. So total savings off of the price that we're paying is about $6,250.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure you guys knew, I'm not saying
Right.
any way that you wanna do it, that's the board's decision, okay? I just hadn't had the opportunity to tell you what it was that I was doing, I wanna make sure you knew that I was not buying more than what I needed to.
But you can create a profile for A officer, B officer, C officer.
Well, but he is right, the laptop will be connected to the car.
Right, but they have to use that car.
Yeah.
So my question to the board is, here we are, 2 weeks later, we have to order something. Mr. Mazur, where are we at as far as the motion and the resolution?
You're gonna have to give me a few minutes to iron this out.
Okay,
I got one more thing.
so what I'm gonna move on while you do that, sir, we'll go to the fire department when we're done here, so go ahead.
There's one more subject in here that I'd like to ask the board to at least ask our, legal department to look into. When it comes to our, doing redactions, just so you know, I've done it with the county, I've been through the training and ours. Just for your information, and even, Mr. Blevins probably remembers asking for one when he first came here, and the difficulty it was when we didn't have the software to get it done. His video was an hour and 5-minute video, I think, or something like that. It took him 2 days to redact it. It takes, on average, because when you're doing a redaction, you go in, you find the person, you watch the entire video, you move it, you move it, you move it, then you gotta save that, then you go back and find the next person, move it, move it, move it, save that. Then you go back and find the next person, then you gotta do it to any photograph, any images that are on the walls, then you have to do it to, the address. And then you have to make sure there's no juveniles in the area and other officers. It is an appropriate charge of $75 an hour, which is what legally is allowed to be done now, because when you take somebody off the street, and then you have to put someone out there on overtime to cover that officer, or whoever it is that's doing these redactions. And now the state is allowing police departments to charge $75 at a maximum of $750 for a video, and I'm not talking about law enforcement related, like sending one down to the clerks, to the prosecutor's office or anything like that. I'd like to see if maybe we could have our legal team look at it and see if we're allowed to, if you guys are wanting to change the charges up to the. what the law is.
It's a state it's a state law now.
Yeah.
That we can charge that, so yes, we can legally charge that.
Okay. I'd like
But
to-
what you need to do, sorry, John, but what you need to do is you need to write up a resolution and present that resolution to the board.
Okay.
So I was gonna make a motion to allow him to proceed and to come back. Do you feel comfortable with him just coming back with it?
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
then that's fine.
it's just, we don't need a motion for him to do a resolution,
Okay,
we just need a resolution, and
okay,
I'd follow the state guidelines.
Yep, I agree.
okay.
It's a lot of work.
Do you have anything else for us, sir?
No, that's all for me.
Okay.
I have something.
Go ahead, sir.
So Dave, you know we met with your officers in here earlier this morning, correct? You're aware of the meeting?
Yes.
One thing that came up during that meeting that shocked me a little bit is, they stated that there's only one officer on the shift at a time, and they said it happens a lot. I'm curious to know, how, what's that?
I said, oh yeah, I forgot about that, I had that wrote down over
So
there.
we cover as long as with overtime.
So, and then when we went, so we're one officer down now.
Or we'll move someone up or down our mid-watch car. We'll move them down the second, and we'll move one first.
Okay, so, this has been talked about before, so gentlemen, I don't know about you, but I'm not comfortable sending people out there by themselves on the ship, by themselves. And we said here this morning, and you heard them say it. Sure. Dave's representing that they're not. So I think anytime we're gonna have an officer on this road by themselves, that we're notified. Now, I understand if you have two out there, somebody gets sick or somebody calls off at the last minute, it's no different than shutting down the fire department, with the sign in the, window, that we asked to be notified that it was going up. I don't think it's fair to our officers to be put out there on the street by themselves, and I understand, we've heard it, that the sheriff is backing them up. But we should have 2 officers on the road at all times. And we should have the ability to do it with the manpower we have right now.
So we have officers that go out, you can't get coverage for, like someone.
No, we usually get covered.
Okay, so no one on third shift out alone, no one.
Not that I know of.
So my question would be, obviously we use overtime, correct?
Yeah.
So
Or we move them.
So what happens if someone says, well, I can't work overtime because I'm already working overtime somewhere else? Which takes precedence, their overtime for somewhere else or overtime here?
He'd have to be here.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, I'm gonna open the floor for any quick questions for the chief, for the lieutenant.
This thing keeps turning.
I had talked to the chief about the problem I had with the neighbors and his son's automobile. So far, he's still racing up and down Richard Road.
Is that the?
Nothing's been done.
Is that, hold on, the other half, are you talking about the
The
Plymouth
Charger?
Charger, yeah.
The red one?
Yeah, he's been stopped and talked to and supposedly.
Well, it ain't done no good.
It hasn't, okay.
Anyone
There's
else?
still
Or
nights
you
where
have a
he's out there
question?
from midnight till 3 in the morning, up and down the
No,
road.
he's
You
been
can hear
talking.
him all down Brown Road. It gets annoying.
Why
Okay,
is it,
I get it.
I know the township has to cover a lot of ground.
Yep,
I drove
understand.
truck for a freight company in the city for years. I used to see these guys clean out on Treview Road, this and that. Why isn't the city of Columbus Police Department annexing some of this and helping these guys out?
The
We're not the
city
city of
can't,
Columbus.
yeah.
Dave will be here, when the meeting ends and
Yeah,
I'll sit
come
down
talk to
with
me.
you guys and Dave,
I will.
and we'll have a
I
conversation.
mean, it's a shame that you only got one police officer on duty
Well,
at a
we're
time.
not- We're not
We
going to
usually
have one officer.
two to
Wow.
3 is what we have generally.
Okay, so I'm gonna close the floor. Is that all the questions we have pertaining to the meeting? Okay, the floor is not closed. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
He has.
Okay, so, Mr. Mazer?
You passed 2 resolutions at the
Correct.
last meeting. And, they're signed, you signed those this morning. So I think, as long as it doesn't exceed $67,000, the funds have been appropriated and encumbered for the, computers in the cruisers.
Okay. I guess it's a process of, we didn't sign the necessary paperwork last time we were here. Okay, so we're moving on. We're going to I'm sorry?
Let's move road.
Okay, so
Jim's not here.
okay, we're
He
tying
could
up
be
on
on the
manpower.
road, yeah.
Okay, so we'll move to Ryan, if you'll come up.
It's your call.
No, that's a good, I appreciate that, I can see that.
Jim's been out sick the past couple of days. At this time, I don't have anything. Does anybody else want to?
Just a second. Guys, we need to listen up. Do you guys have anything for us?
You heard about the new stop sign, so you're gonna be on that.
Called in this morning.
And,
They're notified.
we've talked about Brookside, about the mud on Brookside, and you can't find any, I
We
can't find
sent,
any.
We seen some, we sent 3 letters out yesterday on Brookside for dragging mud out on the road. I had the
They're not really dragging it, I mean, but you just.
They're pulling in and out of their yard, and it's just on the truck.
Same thing
It's
on
not
Little
bad,
Drive.
but it's.
Did you guys send one?
But
for Bull?
you've drove it, I drove it.
Yeah.
And it's been, I'm just addressing it in a.
It's very minimal.
Yeah. So if you checked out the, Laurel Drive, 1 to 3rd house on the left as you go down, so that would be the north side. Yeah.
Jim
Okay,
sent him a letter probably a couple weeks ago.
okay, cause that's tracking a lot of mud when
They
it's.
still doing it?
Yeah, still doing it, no difference. Hopefully it was in Spanish too.
It was.
Okay,
It was
great.
just all on.
Okay,
Is there a place on the, Facebook page to put in for potholes, just like there are leaf pickup and things like that, or not?
I can
Okay.
check on that, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I didn't know, so,
Which we did do 6 ton of blacktop this week,
okay.
and we still have more that need to.
So how do you want it handled? Do you want to be notified directly to you guys?
If
Like,
they would call the phone out there.
and put it on that recording out there is good enough?
Yeah, that's the easiest
Okay.
for us.
And Jim will check that recording and get it to you guys, correct? Okay.
And then, this is probably a Jim question, but I think you should be involved in all of this. This came to me the other night, so when we go to clean this building out back here, and I understand we're a little bit of ways from that, but so I want you to take this back to him and think about this. Are we not gonna need a large container? I understand the building's being demolished, but there'll be things in there that shouldn't go to a landfill or shouldn't go, you understand what I'm trying to say? So.
You talking about a dumpster or? storage
Yeah,
unit?
a dumpster. No, I know we've already approved for a storage unit, but I'm talking about a large dumpster.
As far as the dumpster, I think whatever you're not gonna take is in the quote for them to clean up.
So they'll just take care of it.
That's-
Okay, all right, well, that makes
That's what
sense
I
then.
think.
I just wanted to know because, we also gonna have to, at some point in time, we have Bourne Brothers trash that'll be sitting back here, and I think that's probably gonna have to be moved, because they're gonna have to be able to get in to pick up the trash with a big truck, and we're gonna be doing construction, so. I just don't drive around this building just to, because I wanna go out on a drive, I drive around and make notes and look at things, so that's what I wanted to bring up today, so I jotted it down, so that's all I got.
So what I'd like to do is, if anyone has any quick questions to the road department, go ahead.
Thank you.
I think they did a good job during the winter.
Thank you.
We try, we appreciate it.
You know, a lot of times, and I know they appreciate that, because I gotta mention for these guys, you know, how many times have you had something going on during a holiday on the weekend? It always seems like we get our snow on the weekend or on a Sunday. You call them, they drop what they're doing, they come in. Yes, they get paid to do it, but think how many times do you wanna spend all night clearing the snow and putting salt down? So we do commend all of you guys, because I don't think there's one of you that ever said, no, I don't want it, and hang up.
Unless somebody's on vacation or something, everybody's always good about coming in.
So that's really good, and we're getting ready to get into the storm situations, we're down trees and stuff. I'm sure our chainsaws and stuff are ready to go, and everything's ready to go. So I thank you, I know the residents thank you. So at this time, I'm gonna close the floor, and
I got one thing, and you guys you're already starting to take track of the alleys, of what alleys need to be done.
Yep.
Let's look at, possibly, renting some sort of grader to get some of the humps down and filled in. I mean, I think renting it for 3 weeks would be a lot cheaper than buying one and letting it set most of the time.
Yep, I'll talk to Jim, we can look into it.
don't we have a blade that, I remember we passed a resolution that a blade that drops and you just pull it?
We have a grader box on the back of the tractor.
Okay, gotcha.
I usually sometimes get calls about these road things, but I got a call about, Industrial Mile.
Okay.
Supposedly the potholes are.
It was bad. But
Yeah,
it's
really
fixed
bad.
now.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Okay, well, we thank you very
Thanks,
much,
Ryan.
thanks for coming
Thanks,
in.
Ryan.
Thank you.
You guys
We
need me
appreciate you,
here.
sweetheart.
No, you can go
You're
back,
good.
you're
You're
good.
free to go.
Take care.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you.
Yep.
I noticed you guys been filling some potholes in.
Yeah, everywhere.
You know, I've been in that area 70 years. I have never seen the side streets ever being paved. I know there's not a lot of travel on those side streets. And I know they paved Brown Road maybe 10 times since I've been around there, but I've never seen any of the side streets besides Hopkins, which has a lot of travel, being paved.
Next up we got is the fire department,
You're welcome,
so
thank you.
you're filling in?
Yep, I'm
Quick,
feeling
pick
it.
on you now.
She's out today.
Okay,
Yes, some medical.
Has he got the flu again?
Yeah, he's having a medical procedure today.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That had to be moved. It was supposed to be Friday, but he got moved
Sure.
up by his doctor's office.
okay, you wanna introduce yourself to the
Yep,
public?
I'm Lieutenant Brockmeyer with Franklin Township Fire Department. I'm gonna just give some stats and I think it's gonna move on to, about the levy. Firefighter Mullins is gonna talk about that a little bit more. We took, 868 runs. We had 6 cardiac arrests, 4 building fires, and, we also had, 8 days in February that we ground out, or shut down, a medic at one of the 2 stations. 7 of them was at 193s and 1 of them at 192s, since in the month of February.
I would like to thank, the fire department. I mean, I had to use their service. My father's 92 years old, and The reason I'm wearing a mask is I wanna make sure I don't take anything back to him, and he's been in the hospital for going on 3 weeks now from, and you guys came and took him, and I greatly appreciate that. And you don't miss the service until the service isn't there and you need it, and I desperately needed it. I mean, I wasn't expecting. We ate dinner, he was fine. All of a sudden, he started puking, and he had that, what's it called, norovirus, or whatever it's called, norovirus. Norovirus, and passed out. I mean, it was terrible, it was frightening. And to be able to pick up that phone and call, you know, is very vital. And I don't care how good you are, and I know I used to be a firefighter many, many years ago, my beginning of my career, and majority of the stuff I couldn't even think when it's your own loved one that is needing medical help at that time. So I thank everybody that came out, and, you know, the professionalism and getting him the help that he needed, and he's still currently in the hospital fighting this, and I'm hoping that he may get out any day now. So thank you.
One other update was, this next week coming up, we partnered with the City of Columbus Fire Department. And we've been doing it for a while, but there's a REACT and a REACT and Spark program. And one program, REACT, deals with overdoses and things like that, where Spark actually deals with like elderly or assisted help needed. And they actually offered their services to us a while ago, and now we're getting a better partner relationship with them, to where even our township residents are now benefiting from the City of Columbus Fire Department when it comes to this. If we have houses in there that you have hoarder conditions or whatnot, to help facilitate these people and give them the help that they need, whether it is Meals on Wheels or whatever, and the City of Columbus is doing that completely free for us. And we also, next week, are starting a Suboxone program with the City of Columbus. People that need help, that overdose and want that help immediately, they bring out a team to give them Suboxone and start them on that treatment program right then and there. So that was a big thing in our community that is, and it's for township residents and City of Columbus residents alike. So it's a benefit to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good stuff. Okay, so you wanna introduce who's coming up?
Firefighter Mullins.
Mullins is a name that's been some frolic in the Franklin Township.
Most of us know by another name.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just coming to
Straighten
the
up,
board,
kids.
to ask for approval to use your guys' printer, and the union has agreed we'll pay half if we can put out a mailer for an information meeting. We're trying to do free throughout the township for the levy coming up.
Okay, so one of the things that we have to check with is our legal, because I remember this extensively from.
That's why I said information meeting and
Yeah.
not vote yes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
information with date, time of where these meetings are located, that's
Yes.
all it's gonna say. It's not gonna
Okay.
say vote yes, it's not gonna say
Right.
anything like that. All it's going to say is, we're gonna have a meeting at Pastoral Next Church next week,
Sure,
at what
sure.
time?
Gotcha.
And we're trying to get there, we're gonna have one at 192s for the middle of the township, and I'm still trying to find a place for the north part of the township.
The only question I would have, Mr. Mazer, is there any conflict with using township equipment or et cetera, cause I thought I recalled something in regards to, that even if they're paying for the ink and things of that nature, is there anything, that we need to be aware of?
I'll absolutely verify that.
If not, I know I have no problem with that, do you?
No, not at all. If it's all legal, I'm good with
Yeah,
that.
as long as it's just information.
And I'll work on it.
So
I'll work with you on getting.
So let me do this, let me make a.
Wait a minute, before you do that, make a motion, I wanted to ask Steve something. So
Yes.
we're talking about the printer, you said the union will pay half, correct?
Yes.
And are we talking about pieces of paper?
Just a
Blank
generic.
sheets of paper, so
just
like.
generic.
There's a cost.
Yes.
We know what the cost is, approximately it's a few cents for each sheet of
Yeah,
paper.
so what, I don't know, who do you guys use when you sign out your newsletters? Cause they have they have everything already, that's why I want to use who you guys use.
Okay.
That way they have all the addresses, I don't have to double my work.
Oh, I get it.
Not
They-
our printers.
You're not
Our
talking about
printer
using this
company.
equipment,
No,
see,
no, no,
I
no,
think
okay.
everybody's thinking you're thinking about
Yes.
using.
Oh,
that.
no.
Yeah.
You're
No.
wanting to use.
Yeah, I want to,
You're
whoever you
fine
guys
then.
use to use
Yeah.
a newsletter,
Yeah.
It's
an
not gonna
outside
be, it's not
source.
gonna be that pricey, cause all it's gonna be is a piece like this with locations, times, and dates, and that's
There's no
it.
difference in us getting fuel at BP versus Shell. It's a
Exactly.
vendor, and you're more than.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
thank
mean,
you
we
for-
thought, I thought you.
No, I ain't got time to do
I
all
was
that.
like, good luck.
I'll be here for 3 days. But, I don't know who you guys used when you did the newsletters.
We can get to you that.
Yeah, and I figured I'd get with Nicole.
Yep. Yeah.
And have her send it over. Yep. And then go from there.
Okay, that's fine. I don't think we need any
Can you ask
motions
the
or.
beginning again, are you asking to pay for, your union's willing to pay half?
Yeah, go with half.
You realize he's asking.
Is, do we pay the other half?
Yeah,
of
if you
that,
would.
right? Okay, so now we're in a situation, are we allowed to, expend funds for that?
I'll
That's
give you the money.
the only question,
I'll lend you money too.
legally.
I don't think so, but I'm not a lawyer.
So one of the things that we're gonna have to do is check with, one, the auditor, because I know we got into a pickle.
Alright, let me do this, cause we ain't got time for all that.
Okay.
I'll pay for it all if I can use your printer and your resources.
Well, here's what I'll do. I heard other people in the audience say it themselves, but I will personally write a check towards a donation towards the fire
We
department.
appreciate
Are we
it.
allowed to do that? That's me
Yes.
as a resident.
Yes, you are allowed to do that.
And I will write you a check and try to get up to, if you can get me a number to what half would be, and I heard other people state, so if we can,
I can't expect it to be very, because it's not gonna be that big, and it's not gonna be that detailed.
You know what's
It's not
gonna kill
be
you is the
colorful.
postage.
Yeah, that's, exactly.
That's what's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And I think they have the ability to take out these homes that we send to with that,
Right.
that don't get delivered.
Yeah, right, that's why I wanted to ask your permission to use your guys' stuff.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
go with the
I just can't
ones-
call them and say, hey, I'm gonna use the township's. stuff.
There's a
I got
list
your
out
permission.
there, Scooter, that we go to when we're politicking. That's the one you want,
Yep.
the people that come out and come to these meetings, and the people that vote. Do not send it to every person in the
I don't-
township.
I don't
because
want, that's what I don't want.
It's just gonna get
Right,
Yes.
most likely to vote.
Yes, they're.
So if you'll get back with me when you know a number, or somebody, please let me know, I'm happy to write a check.
They'll let us know.
No, I was
Appreciate
ready
it.
to
Thank you.
give gold, but I guess you can't do that.
Oh, we'll go right ahead. I'll stay right here.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, oh, I apologize. I'm gonna open the floor for any questions. You have a question?
Okay, so, anyway, I was thinking, the problem with the fire levy is people are, and I mentioned this the last meeting, they're looking it up, they're saying, oh my God,
Yes,
they're adding in
I know where
what
you're
it
going with this.
already is.
we are working
plus-
on a worksheet now to try, when we have these meetings, we are trying to figure out a way to go through this and explain to people
Well,
how to figure it out.
Okay, so my thought is, like, if we have the meeting at the library, there's enough room for the number of residents that will come. If you guys had some firefighters that wanted to volunteer, maybe with some laptops or something,
I'm looking up with
to show them
Yeah.
physically,
Yeah,
because that's their biggest concern.
oh, I understand, yeah.
Yeah.
My recommendation when your information goes out is to say, contact us, don't go by what you see on the auditor's site, because they're adding the two together,
Mhm.
and that would not be what
Right.
is factual.
That is
Yeah.
correct. So we're working on the bugs of that right now. Me and the chief are working on trying to figure out how to explain and show people on the computer how to get down to the right part.
Okay. Any other questions?
I got a comment.
Hearing none, I will close the floor. Sir, you have a
You
comment?
might check with Robin. I think she did it a couple times ago for the police levy. Was showing people on the computer what it was gonna be. She may be.
Oh, we know how to do it, but it's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
showing people, like actually showing people how to get through the process and then take off what you're already paying for
Yeah.
what it's gonna cost you.
I'm just gonna
that's
put this out there too, I reached out to Bob this week, you probably know that Bob and I are set in 2 weeks to make a video here at 12 noon to go on YouTube to also inform the residents the same as we did the last
Absolutely,
time.
yeah.
So I just put that out there for you guys to have the knowledge.
All right, thank you for your time.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're moving on. The physical department, a motion to, pay, bills and payroll.
Yes, sir. First, I have motion to approve accounts payable, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve accounts payable from February 19, 2025 through February 28, 2025 in the amount of $140,495.98 from ACH voucher number 0515-2025 through 0648-2025.
Hearing this, if there's no further questions, I would ask for a second.
I will second that.
And a roll call when you're ready.
Mr. Leeser?
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
And Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Then the next one I have is, trustee payroll. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve the trustees payroll for the pay period February 1, 2025 through February 28, 2025 in the amount of $6,400.50. Direct deposit on March 3rd, 2025, and the electronic vouchers of 0649-205 through 0651-2025.
Hearing resolution, if there's no further questions, I'd ask for a second.
Second that.
A roll call when ready.
Mr. Leeser?
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
And Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
And I have another one for payroll. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board makes a motion to approve staff payroll for the period February 9th, 2025 through February 22nd, 2025 in the amount of $180,313.66. Direct deposit on February 28th, 2025. Electronic vouchers 0565-205 through 0621-2025.
Hearing resolution, if there's no further questions, I would ask for a second.
I will second.
With a second, I would ask for a roll call when ready.
Mr. Leeser?
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
And Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Okay. Up next is Resolution 2025-031. It's approving the obligations authorized by the administration from the period February 19th, 2025 to March 4th, 2025. Whereas the Board of Trustees in Resolution 2021-130 authorized the administrator to approve obligations of $10,000 or less on behalf of the township in accordance with section 507.11 of the ORC. And whereas pursuant to the revisions of section 507.11A of the ORC, the obligations approved incurred by the administrator must subsequently be approved by the adoption of a formal resolution of the Board of Trustees. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio. The obligations authorized incurred by the administrator is presented in Exhibit A, attached, and all formal actions of this board concerning and relating the adoption of this resolution are passed in an open meeting of this board, and all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that result in such formal action when meetings open to public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared emergency in full force effective immediately upon its adoption.
Hearing resolution as read, I'd ask for a second if there's no questions.
I have one question, on the line item, the first line item there, for police telecommunications, IT and telecommunications. And what's that detail?
That's just a blanket purchase
Blanket
order
purchase
for 2025.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the Rev Group is the Rev Group one for 10,000?
same thing,
Okay.
just a blanket purchase order for, I shouldn't say blanket, just a purchase order for, 2025.
Okay. I'll second that after those questions, if there's any.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I have a second. I will now ask for roll call.
Mr. Leeser?
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
And Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
John Hayes.
How about you, Lisa?
Next is resolution 2025-032. It is necessary to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of Franklin Township, Franklin County during the year ending December 31, 2025. The annual appropriations resolution 2024-140 for the period from January 1 through December 31st, 2025 needs amended. Therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that section 1, the sums presented in Exhibit A hereto attached B and the same are hereby set aside and appropriate for several purposes for which expenditures will be made for and during the year ending December 31, 2025. That all formal actions of this board concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution were passed in the open meeting of this board, and all deliberations of this board and any of its committees have resulted in such formal action. Where meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency, be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
Hearing the resolution, I would ask for a second if there's no questions.
I will second that.
Hearing the second, I would ask for a roll call.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
The next resolution is simply a resolution to transfer funds. In past years, going back as far as 2019, the township received various grants for which an insignificant balance exists in the fund. And whereas the funds were expended for their intended purposes and certain expenditures were charged to certain operating funds rather than the grant fund. And whereas the funds have been inactive for years and the balances need to be eliminated in order to close the funds. Therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Township Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio. The following balances will be transferred upon appropriation as indicated below. And that all formal actions of this board concerning and related to the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of this board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that result in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
I would ask for a second.
I will second that.
Is there any other questions?
I just wanna ask the question, just because I'm new, that's all. I get it on the bottom three, but $633.13, that's a pretty good chunk of change. I mean, it can't be, so it just can't be used, huh?
It's just it's a housekeeping item, and they're taking like I'm not even sure what year, Mike, that is, but yeah.
Okay.
It's a housekeeping item. and
It's
they're
not, it's not, I'm questioning
I
it,
get
it's
it.
it's like a decent amount of money, so I'm ready, sir.
At least it's still in the road and bridge fund.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's the key thing.
but I understand.
Okay, with, any other questions? Hearing none, I'd ask for a second.
I will second.
With the second, I'd ask for a roll call when ready, sir.
Mr. Leeser.
Yeah.
Mr. Fleshman.
Yes.
And Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm leaving. Thanks for
Thank you.
listening to my point of views.
Yeah.
Everybody be safe.
I'll see you in a
Thanks
month.
to the fire
If you
department.
wanna stop
Please
in
come
and
back.
hear it,
Huh?
if you ever wanna stop in and talk.
Okay, okay.
Please come back.
Have a good day, everybody.
You say too.
Next I have, Resolution 2025-035, it's a resolution authorizing an agreement between Franklin Township and Express Wash Holdco LLC DBA Moo Moo Car Wash for washing of 11 police cruisers. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees, Franklin County, Ohio, the board approves and authorizes an agreement with Moo Moo Car Wash for the purpose of washing 11 police cruisers in an amount not to exceed $2,640 for for 12 consecutive months. Be it further resolved that the car washing building will be established on a month-to-month basis for 11 cruisers, $20 each per month for 1 year, with a basis and ability for the township to amend and or cancel this agreement at any time. Be it further resolved that all formal actions board concerning and related to this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, and that all deliberations of the board and any of its committees that result in such formal actions were a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 12122 of the ORC. This resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
Any questions on said, resolution? Hearing none, I'd ask for a second.
No, second.
With the second, I'd ask for a roll call when ready.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
and Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
The next resolution I have is resolution 2025-036. It's a resolution approving an agreement with Lindsay Justice, the Franklin Township Fiscal Officer. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, approves and authorizes the rescinding of resolution 2024-130, which forbids Lindsay Justice from entering 2193 Frank Road without a majority vote of approval from the trustees. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees agrees with this new resolution, that Lindsay Justice shall have access to the administrative building at 2193 Frank Road with the intent to attend quarterly scheduled trustee meetings or as required. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees will afford Lindsay Justice the opportunity to obtain a UAN desktop computer controlled by the auditor of state from her place of residency. It will be incumbent upon Lindsay Justice to schedule times and dates to review and sign pertinent documentation required of the Township Fiscal Officer. Be it further resolved that all formal actions of this board concerning and relating to this resolution were passed in an open meeting of the board, and that all deliberations of the board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were a meeting open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be declared an emergency and be in full force and effective immediately upon its adoption.
So I have questions in regards to this, resolution. I heard it intently, I understand, but it sounds like to me there's some legal room. And what I wanna do, because of what I've seen and heard in regards to, hostile work environment and et cetera. If my understanding is she can come in at the meetings, like we said before, come to every meeting, et cetera, but her day-to-day operations isn't necessarily gonna be here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that we can provide a place, or she can choose to work from home, which has always been an option the whole time, correct?
Basically, what we're saying in this resolution is that her place of residency will be her office.
Okay, with that being heard, if there's no other questions, I'd ask for a second.
I will second.
And a roll call when you're ready.
I got one thing on, but she will have to come in here, if I'm reading this right, from time to time, scheduled, come in here and look over stuff and sign stuff for you.
Yes, sir.
Right, and then what this is do, in my opinion, is it does not prevent her from coming in to do her job. So what we're finding is, in my opinion, is the pettiness of, saying, well, you're not letting me come in to do my job, you're hamstringing me from doing a job. Okay, we are going to make sure that you are not hamstringed. Show the public that voted for you that you should be sitting right here and doing your job. So, you know.
I'm ready to vote. I'll have something to say since you did, James, real quick. I just wanna remind you, Steve, that you do not work for the fiscal officer.
Agreed,
You work for the trustees.
agreed,
You're here at the pleasure of the trustees.
agreed.
And you do not have to take a boatload of crap from the fiscal office. And that's what happened in the past. She thought she, ran this entire place, and you are at minimum her equal, if not above her, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to doing things. I'm sure the state's gonna say different, but I just wanna let you know, do not take crap from the fiscal officer. So,
Yeah, the
Had my
fiscal,
say.
yeah, the fiscal department does not have a say in a board. If you wanna have a say as far as voting powers, run for trustee to sit here. To want to hold the trustees handicapped by not wanting to sign something and say you're not effing going to and et cetera, just to pound your chest and be able to say, well, without me, they don't have anything. We'll find a way around it. You know, I gotta commend, Mr. Mazur for, diligently working and crafting to find a way that we could keep this township running. Because let's just face it, no employee would have been paid if you wouldn't have done what you've done. And her refusing to come in irregardless of the previous resolution. The previous resolution, I personally sat up here and made it. Then it was crybaby, I can't come in and do my job. I said in front of this camera, I said in front of the audience, you can come to every meeting, we want you at every meeting, but you're just not gonna work in here. Unfortunately, the auditors didn't take that as a resolution that we rescind one and make a new one, so we have a new one crafted. We'll see what it does. I mean, obviously, lieutenants across the street, chief, if we start having issues, then we will warn her, and if not, then she will be removed. Because let's face it, she already knows what a jail cell looks like. I mean, we had to wait on her while she was in jail for other priors. So with that being said, we are now down to a, we have, we're ready for a vote if there's no further questions.
Okay. Mr. Leeser?
yes.
Mr. Fleshman?
Yes.
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see what happens at the next meeting. Maybe we will have somebody that can answer some questions. The last time she was here was August 11th,
Correct.
and still getting paid. Was until the last, till January 1st.
Correct.
So from January 1st on, we have held that pay. You don't show up, we don't know where you are. She knows when the meetings are. She's, as I said on camera many times, we want you here, you're welcome here. Now we have it in writing that she can be here, so, we'll find out what, this, you know, and from here, we'll take other actions. Even, we can go around trying to do an affidavit as we did. The people is the power. We'll go get signatures and we will do a recall and let the public decide if they want to have someone new. So that's the next step. The state does not have a say in that, as far it's the people that would vote. So you can't get around that. If you have a recall and the public says, we're not gonna continue to pay you and you've not been in and done anything, and the issues that you've created, the township to have to do, it's a phenomenal, I commend you for what you've done. I don't know how you come up with some of the things legally that we could do. All townships watch us because they're thinking the
Many
same thing.
reasons.
Yeah, they're thinking, how in the world did you get that done? Because realistically, we would have folded because you don't have the signature that you need from the fiscal officer to do certain things. So I think, in my personal opinion, a lot of this is so antiquated, I don't know why we can't just hire a CPA and then the board signs it along with with you, sir, and
I can partially answer that. It's a checks and balance by the state of Ohio. They mandate that you have a fiscal officer to have checks and balances, because I've had that luxury.
Right, in the position of the fiscal officer, I once got in trouble for calling it a bean counter, because they didn't like that. But what you just said, checks and balances. We sit here and pass resolutions, they, write the checks. It shouldn't be, wait a minute, I don't think we should. No, it's not that you get a say in it, other than if there is not money appropriated or enough money to do it, then you have the fiscal, obligation to say, I can't do that, my job, because that will put us in a financial obligation. Other than that, the fiscal officer does not have a say if we're buying a red fire truck or a yellow fire truck.
You are correct, but that was just to clear up.
Right.
It's a check.
I guess I'm just running my mouth because I'm letting off steam, because I think it's crazy that someone gets paid for the whole time. But anyways, we are moving on, sir.
Just a few discussion items, just to make the board aware that, we are upgrading our electric for the new building that's coming up. So they're gonna run additional power from across Frank Road to the existing, apparently, transformer here, which will upgrade our service, which would allow us.
Sure.
Is that gonna be 3-phase or single phase?
Probably 3-phase.
Sure.
Update.
I'll read it. I'm used to reading them, so I'll check it out.
I think it's 3.
It would have to be that.
I think it's 3.
Hello.
Okay.
I think it's in a box there
Yeah.
somewhere, Jim. The next is, I had a contractor come in and look at the water damage in Robin's office.
Okay.
Fingers crossed, I think the young man isolated it, where when we had the last roof put on just a couple years ago, there was a vent, a stack there that wasn't sealed properly with a rubber membrane. So both Jim Stevens and the contractor removed the ceiling tile, looked up there, they could see light coming through.
Yeah.
So what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna remove the vent, because the vent serves no purpose, and they're gonna put a new membrane down. Lay a piece of plywood, of course, down, and then a new membrane, seal it, and that'll be hopefully the leak. And at the same time, they can cut the damaged drywall out, the wainscoting, rebuild the wall. And then I just asked the guy, when you give me that quote, give me a quote to paint it and put some carpeting in there. So I'm waiting on that quote as well. So that's an update on Robin's office. And then, we were talking about Britain. I've been in communication with the county engineer and the actual, the county engineer and the actual engineer on this portion of the project, EP Ferris. And the engineer is comfortable with this idea that the private engineer has. What they're going to do is, they're gonna access Britain Road for this development along Tradeview, what we were talking about earlier. They only wanna use Britain as an emergency in and out. The fire department's aware of it, the county, like I said, the county engineer's, aware of it. County engineer will monitor the site for us. They do wanna add an emergency entrance into the south of the new project, probably 3/4 of the way to the west of Hague Avenue, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you have Hague, you have Britain, 3/4 of a mile down Britain. They wanna have an emergency access into the back of the new development that will be gated off. So there'll be no access to it except for,
Emergency.
yes.
Okay, so I've been to these meetings and I've listened to the people. And one of the issues that we've had in many places of the township when we do that is when you say gated off, we want it so you can't walk through.
Yes. It
Because
is
what
supposed-
happens is people will pull down this street, park on the side of the street, then hop over or walk through some of them, they have the knockouts, the square knockouts, if that's what you call it. They park at the end of the road and then just walk into the back of their apartments. We have seen where there are semis in certain places, they park the semi there, or even a box truck, and they park, because it dead ends, they back down the street, they park in front of someone's house, they get out, and they just walk through the little things, because we had that up on Ontario, and then they walk to the houses or whatever's behind them. So in this, whenever there are apartments, it's worse for whatever reason. When they say you can take your semi home, that don't mean take it home where you live, but some people wanna take it home. It may not have the trailer on back, but who wants a semi sitting out in front of their house? And gentlemen, keep in mind that our street is only 22 feet wide with no curbs and sidewalk. People's property is gonna be chewed up from that. There is gonna be a turnaround, so I already see what's gonna happen. They're gonna go down to the turnaround, they're gonna turn around in there, they're gonna come back up, park on the street because it doesn't say no parking. Then if we really have an emergency, I can ask the fire department, how hard is it to get that engine around a box truck, semi, on a 22-foot wide road without getting stuck in someone's yard? So we need to make sure of whoever the development and the plans, that they're planning on putting a fence all the way down through there. That needs to be set where the fire department, if they need to, they just cut the lock off and open the door. It doesn't mean who has the key, but it's paramount that we make sure that there's not gonna be access where people walk back and forth to Britain, and that's my opinion. Did you follow me on that?
I did. And it is single phase power.
Single phase?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it good?
It's not heavy enough. Nowadays, you know, thinking of commercial, well, thinking that it's commercial, I don't know why they don't put a 3-phase, and especially being a building for Jim Stevens, we may wanna look into that.
Yeah.
Because if he's gonna put any kind of heavy lifts
Yeah.
in the future, something that's gonna run a 3-phase, power equipment,
I'll get with them.
yeah, I'm preaching to
That's
the choir.
That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah, so, but, so gentlemen, and I don't, Shirley, you're on, Britain. And I think that you can feel my sentiments and what was said at the meeting, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Well, and two, why don't they have a roundabout there for the ones at the apartments? Why do they have to come down Britain? Since it's so small.
Well, a lot of times they need a backup way to get in case there, let's say for instance, there was the building's on fire, but yet a school bus turned over in front of where they need to get into the apartments off of Tradeview. And they need to get in to fight that fire, the only other way is come around through the back, hypothetically. You always have a secondary source of being able to access the property for emergency vehicles.
Yes, because we have had, I don't know what it is that they call the Sensation Station up on Treeview Road.
Yeah.
They have had men in that place coming down on Britain Avenue. We've had long strings of cars sitting there.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, they had no other way to go except to come on Britain.
Right.
And to get, and one time we did have it where they had rocked that one place up there. And they were down on our street with dogs and everything else because.
Well, the key hopefully is that we'll be able to keep, Britain a dead-end road. And that's gonna save the charm of Britain where it's, you know, my street used to be that way. There's people that came down the street, you pretty much knew when I was growing up who's who, but now that it's open, Sundays, my street is like 300-400 cars when church lets out, both two churches let out. So if I'm planning on going somewhere after church, I park at the BP and walk home so that I can get back out because it's lined up as far as you can see for 20 minutes, so.
Now, what kind of a fence are they gonna put up?
Well, from the last meeting that I was at, I mentioned a vinyl would be nice, but their eyes saw dollar signs. But they were looking at, they were talking about womanize and things of that nature, and then they threw out the idea of putting up a cedar fence so that, you know, that would be weather prevented. So they really haven't really said in the last meeting, did I correct that?
You're correct.
Okay, so they really haven't said, but it is gonna be a fence all the way down through there. And again, I mentioned that needs to be a fence completely closed where the fire department, I mean, they can open it in 2 seconds. They're not gonna worry about a key, they're just gonna cut the lock and open it and get in.
They're supposed to have an electronic keypad there just for the fire department, it's not gonna be a lock.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that if that's the case, it's a gate that would open electronically. We don't want that, cause you're just gonna step over it unless it's a nice, complete lock fence where you can't climb over it or et cetera.
That's probably one of those black iron gated ones.
That's what was stated, was it's gonna be a black iron gate.
Yeah.
If it's a black iron gate, you know, full iron gate, I think that's beautiful. You know, but if it's a fence, that's even, you know, something like that, it's, you know, as long as people aren't gonna do, cause they will do it, I have seen it in the township, they will park on that street and just, you know, it's easier then to get out, because what we're gonna find with those apartments, and I'll say this and be done so we can move on, is you've got 200 and some odd people.
Yeah.
And if I park on this street, I can zip out and on Hague and down without trying to go out and around, it's a shortcut.
We have good police officers, smart.
Yeah.
There's some signs up.
Yeah. Yeah. We will eventually have to put signs up, I'm sure.
It'll be interesting, yeah, but just like, they're making signs every day. And they're making plenty of paper. for
Okay,
kids
sir, I
tickets.
apologize.
No,
What
no,
else do you
you're
have?
fine. I know we talked about this, earlier. We have a replacement, that is qualified and, his name is Chris Kirby. Presently, he's serving as a fiscal officer for the village of, Thornville, the village of South Zanesville. And if I have my chronological order correctly, he is just finishing up some work with Etna Township. His rate is,
42.
actually $47 an hour, which is $13 less than Jeff.
Yeah.
Less than Jeff.
I just hope he's as good as Jeff. I don't care about the $13 difference. I do if he's really good.
Well, we'll know when he gets in here. So I just wanted to discuss this with the board. I actually have, and I can ask Nicole to print a resolution out. I think I sent the board some of his biography, didn't I?
Yeah, I got it.
And he is willing to start anytime this month. Like I said, he's just finishing up in Etna Township. I have an agreement for him to review and, his signature, and I believe it needs, I believe I can sign this as the administrator for the trustees. And I also talked to Otarma, our insurance company, about bonding him.
Right.
And we can get a $50,000 bond at a cost of approximately $250 a year.
Okay.
If the trustees were comfortable with that amount, he's really not gonna have access to our privy financial information. As you know, he's gonna do exactly what Jeff did. Work with bank reconciliations and do some audit assistance, and I'd even like him to get involved, and I'm sure he can, with maybe a little payroll as well.
Being that he's preview to a lot of social security numbers and things of that nature and et cetera, absolutely, bonded. However, errors and omission, does he not carry his own insurance?
He does not.
This would be a good time for him to, for $250 a year, I think that he should, come in with some type of insurance on his own.
But I don't disagree, but being we're getting, again,
I understand what we're
our
getting
back
in.
kind of against the
So-
wall.
So what I would suggest to the trust boards of trustees, and we'll see what they think. I think two things need to happen here. I don't like to do stuff where we have to get a resolution and we don't have a resolution in place.
Mhm.
I think we need a resolution and take a vote if we're going to take him on due to the time constraints of him catching up and being able to get what we need done. Secondly, another resolution authorizing up to, I don't know, $1,200 to get started so that we, can get him working right away. And I would be open to discussion what the rest of the board thinks about that, because if we wait another 2 weeks and we keep putting things out 2 weeks, and he's available now.
In the earlier meeting, I represented that he was going to be involved in some of the, budgeting,
Mhm.
things like that.
Oh, yeah,
You
yes.
did not mention that, so I just want
Yes.
to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yes, sir.
That is what I've seen him do and do well. Some of this other stuff,
Yeah.
not so much, but I have no doubts in my mind that if he represents that he can do it, that he can do it. I'm not here nor there on the, bonding. If John, I'll, go back to John's being here a long time, and if he says it needs to be a bond, again, we're saving money when it comes to him. We have paid Jeff all this time, and we obviously need the help.
I would definitely say bond. I would definitely say he needs bonded.
Cause we don't wanna get
100%.
ourselves in trouble with,
No.
employees here, and then the taxpayers pay more when you could've paid a little bit. That's like driving a car without insurance. Well, I'm only going to get a loaf of bread. That loaf of bread's gonna turn out costing you $20,000. So,
So are we saying, I just wanna know what we're saying.
So what I would
we're
like to
saying
do-
If he doesn't have a bond, that we're
well,
going to.
I think,
I say we bond him.
I think that we bond him,
Okay.
and at some point, we working with him, we need to encourage him to seek, a bond or an insurance called errors and omission. It's not very much money. Any company I walk in that I have to do work for, I have to provide that to them. And I have a certificate every year that shows this, I'm covered for your facility. I think that he should want to take it to that as an independent. But to get started, us putting up the money to bond, I only think that is smart, business. We have seen in the past, since I've been here, that we've had actual monies come back from other people's bonds because of negligence. So I wanna protect the people's, money as much as possible, meaning that if something would happen and there was a mistake, the bonding company would, pick that up and pay us and make us whole. So at this time, Mr. Mazer, again, we would be looking at, actually 3 resolutions. One resolution for the bonding, a resolution to, take him on as a vendor, and thirdly, a set amount of time to get started with.
As much as we need this done, we've sat here and said we're not gonna do resolutions at the table.
We don't have
We've
to.
already got a
Time in,
resolution,
time out.
it looks like we have a resolution created for the contract for him, correct?
Yeah, let me double
That
check.
she just needs to print out.
Let me
We
double check with
can,
Nicole.
we can put it on.
What do you wanna do? Because if we're gonna say we're not gonna do them, then.
We can't, I mean, yeah.
We're not going to do them.
Okay.
We would have to come back in and have another meeting, so
Well, it
then
looks like
stop
we're-
saying that we're not gonna do resolutions at the table, and let's just do them, but you can't have it both ways.
I agree, I don't think we should do that.
So if you would like, and I'm gonna double check with Nicole, I think we created a resolution, for you trustees. And it's another one of those things that if you would like to digest it, and I know I throw this out all the time, we can come in for another meeting.
I think we're like-minded, I think the 3 of us are like-minded, it's the idea of the resolution.
If there's a resolution, I'm sorry, Mike,
Okay,
if
go
there's a
ahead.
resolution already, created,
We can just
with a
add-
resolution number,
Here you go.
See, thank you, Nicole. I thought she had done that.
that means the resolution, we're not creating a resolution.
Okay, as long as I need Mr. Mazer.
I agree with you.
I need
We
Mr.
to-
Mazer to be okay on it, that's what
Yeah,
I need.
we need to stop making resolutions at the table, because that's where we go.
No, we kind of
That's-
anticipated this because we had had
Okay.
these discussions, and I think I agree with you all. Let's get moving on this.
Yep,
And,
but we do have another meeting coming up here soon too, but I'll let you finish this.
no, I just wanna make sure the wording is okay.
There would need to be 3 articles in that resolution that would set him in place to be able to start tomorrow.
What we have here, it just approves hiring him as an at-will independent contractor, related to the financial operations of the township. So what you're saying is we would need a resolution for a bond?
Yeah, so that we are agreeing to spend $250 for a bond on him. And, you know, can he be bonded? You know, that's another question, you know, cause there's not gonna do a background check. Thirdly, the last thing is, are we approving how much time to get started? So, you know, the only thing that we can do at this time is have to come back, because we can't put the cart before the horse, because if we say we're gonna take him on as a independent vendor, but yet we find out that he can't be bonded for some reason, then we just pass a resolution to hire him, then we turn around and fire him. Then the last resolution would be, how much time are we gonna put on his bank to get started?
All right, that's a great question, John.
So there's no way we can even vote on any of this today. So we will have to come back in, cause there's 3 steps there.
Mm-hmm. Now, in his last engagement letter with the village of Thornville, he's working 20 hours a week,
Okay,
so that's 80 a month.
so if we start him off at 106, 2 months, just to get started and see where he's at, but the thing is, that doesn't mean he's guaranteed that, that just means we've got some
that
buffer
set aside.
room, yeah. So that when we know we're getting low, 2 weeks before the 80 hours end, we could then say, okay, what's adequate, what do we need?
Mm-hmm.
And we could visit it every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So you're absolutely correct, so if we overlook some of these tad bits by trying to do a resolution here, it's tough, because.
We get knee jerked into making
Yeah.
decisions.
You're right.
We cannot do that, and we have to follow the policies and procedures manual, because it does say that we have
Right.
to have time to read it.
I know occasionally there are things that could be an emergency, but you're right, we need to stick to the policy.
And you know, we can pass we can have a special meeting.
Conditional upon eligibility to become bonded, pay that, and then approves up to.
Yep, that was pretty good listening. It's up to the board.
Is the bonding in there?
That's why she makes some big money. The wording says has extensive experience assisting other townships with fiscal support, conditional upon eligibility to become bonded. He will be paid $47 per hour, and the board approves up to 180 hours to begin. And Mr. Kirby can be removed by a majority vote of the trustees at any time.
So to my board members, do you feel comfortable in the resolution that we have here, or do we wanna come back?
I'm good with it if you guys are.
I'm good with it, because we're
Okay.
covering eligibility and.
So you, sir, do you want to go ahead and read that off, and, let's see if it goes across the table?
The only reason why I'm good with it is it was already created.
Right.
She just modified it.
Right.
Okay, this is resolution 2025-037, resolution approving a contractual agreement with Chris Kirby for accounting services. Be resolved by the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board authorizes the hiring of Chris Kirby as an at-will independent contractor to assist with matters related to the financial operations of the township. Be it further resolved that Mr. Kirby has extensive experience assisting other township with fiscal support. Condition upon eligibility to become bonded, he will be paid $47 an hour. The board approves up to 180 hours to begin. Mr. Kirby can be removed by a majority vote of the trustees at any time. Be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees understands the importance of this position and need to hire an individual with Mr. Kirby's background. All formal actions of this board concerning and relating the adoption of this resolution were passed in an open meeting of this board, and all deliberations of the board and any of its committees have resulted in such formal actions where meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be enforced and effective immediately upon its adoption unless otherwise specified.
Hearing such resolution with, any regard, is there any additional questions?
I just have one to be
Sure.
quick. Does it state in there that he reports to the board?
In his agreement, the work I complete is available for review by township officers, including the administrator.
Okay, you realize that the fiscal officer is an officer, so.
Correct.
Just,
So,
no, I just wanna
No,
know
no,
what,
no, I'm glad-
I'm putting this out here,
I'm
fellas,
glad
so
you
you
did.
guys make a decision.
So you wanna clarify
Right,
to say township trustees.
you're right, just handwrite
In
that
his
in.
agreement.
Handwrite that in, and that's a very good catch, sir, I didn't catch that. I heard the officers and I didn't,
Yeah, that's what I read, it was.
that was
officer.
really good, that's why there's three of us. Mike, you're very good at that.
I will take care of that.
Okay, with that being said, is there any additional questions to said resolution?
I have none.
We need a second.
I will second with no other question.
So now that I have a second, go, a roll call, please.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman,
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Then, this is kind of sensitive, but, we need to have this discussion. Other administrators who've had an absentee, or other townships that have had an absentee fiscal officer, have appointed on a temporary basis a deputy fiscal officer. And I wish Jim Stevens was here, but he's not feeling well, so he wasn't able to attend. In some occasions, townships have appointed their road superintendent to be their temporary deputy fiscal officer. And the reason I'm still pursuing this, because it's a past history of our fiscal officer to date. We are unable to get our building underway because we need a signature from either the fiscal officer or an appointed deputy fiscal officer. We cannot make the initial payment for the building materials until we are able to cut a check. My reasoning in all this is, and I had a resolution ready, but I wanna talk to Jim Stevens first, unless you trustees wanna just go ahead and pull the trigger on it. Where Jim will be the temporary deputy. And again, I am threading the eye of the needle on this, gentleman. Jim will be the temporary deputy fiscal officer. So he will have temporary access, temporary authority to sign in place of the fiscal officer, and also temporary authority to cut a check on behalf of the township to continue this process going forward.
Okay. Question, no, I was just going to, see about making a resolution based upon his agreement. The reason I would say that today is because we have things that desperately need signed right now. I could craft and make the resolution.
It's complete. It's
Okay,
done.
but I would say the only thing that I would do different is based upon his agreement.
I would.
Jim's agreement to do it.
Yes, I don't wanna do that.
Yeah,
I don't
What
wanna
I'm
do
saying
that.
is, if we pass the resolution today, based upon
You could do
his
that,
agreement.
and then we could rescind it.
Right, and if he doesn't wanna do it, we'll rescind it. If he does wanna do it, boom, he's done and things are getting signed.
I have a question. Is he bonded?
Yeah.
Through the
he's covered
township,
under-
He is currently bonded.
He is covered under the umbrella of the township because it's a temporary position and he's fully employed with the township. So our insurance covers incidents, if something would happen, it does cover, an incident like that.
So are you looking for something that goes along the lines pending Jim Stevens's
Approval.
accepting of the position?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, if You wanna do the resolution
I got
without
it.
talking to him
Yeah,
first?
yeah.
If he comes back and says, I'm not
He's
comfortable
already
doing
got it right
that,
up.
Yeah.
if he's not comfortable doing that,
Then we just,
then we just rescind it.
so we don't need to add that in, so we would go with the language that is currently there. And if Jim says, there ain't no way I'm touching that, then we would just rescind it. If he says yes, then he signs it and it works. So we don't have to put anything in there, a pending or anything. So go ahead with the resolution, sir.
All right, let me,
I got one question. It says on your thing, on your docket here is we need to have a future meeting date for staff meeting. Is that like next week? Was you thinking
that's
next
up to you,
week?
gentlemen, cause you have some things that we have talked about in the past that you wanna sit down.
I would say let's do it next week and then we can take care of this.
Well, here's
resolution
the
that day.
thing, Jim may be in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Today is Thursday.
Okay.
So if we keep kicking the road,
Okay.
you know, there's things that have to be signed now. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, and sir, are you good?
Yeah.
So if you read that off to us, then we'd be happy to, move forward with it.
Let me see if Nicole can print that out for you.
Do we have that one too?
Which one?
The one for Jim Stevens?
All right. Okay, here's an updated one for that one that says he serves reports to the board.
I have all of them here, I've just been keeping them, you want them? You wanna hand it to
I
her?
can create it by the end of, before the end of the meeting. Tell me what it is.
I may have it, Nicole.
Okay.
This is,
check the drive.
this is an updated,
The updated.
resolution for,
The
Chris
countdown.
Kirby,
Okay.
where it says he reports to the trustees.
Yeah. I didn't wanna use yours.
No, it's fine, I appreciate it.
Now, give me 1 minute, gentlemen, I may have.
You wanna go ahead and go? You wanna go ahead and go, yeah, and then I'll get there.
Let me see, Nicole, I may not have sent it to you.
Well, while Mr. Major's gone, I know it's on his
I may not have said
agenda,
it.
I know you need to get out of here because of your father. I would, and we know we need to have a staff meeting. I will throw the date out there, I'd throw next Wednesday out there, if you guys are.
I think that's good for me, I just have to check my calendar, but I'm sure that might be, I don't carry my calendar in my phone.
I got my calendar on my phone.
Well, I mean, I can look up there, but I just don't know
Do you have
I mean,
what
I
my
can see
office
it.
is. 'Cause I don't-
I'm good at my office.
What time are you talking?
You wanna do 10 o'clock? I like
Yeah.
the earlier. is
I like
good.
9, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock will work, I can be here at 10.
So,
Next Wednesday at 10. Shouldn't take long.
and that is March, what date is that?
That would be March 12th.
Okay. I apologize about the length of them, we got a lot of work done today, so
You
it's
go
been.
take care of your dad, sweetheart.
I-
At least
I-
you still have it.
Yes,
That's why I moved that. I took,
yeah.
instead of waiting on,
I apologize for taking that, but, fortunately, he's, being able to come out of the hospital for the second time. But he went
you're
into.
gonna get one, Father.
Prayers.
Yeah,
Prayers, bud.
yeah.
You're gonna get one, Father.
That's why I'm wearing this, because I don't wanna take something back to him. And that flu that's going around is very, very deadly.
I've been coughing
You
about-
too.
Yeah.
You covered your mouth.
All right,
And
gentlemen.
I've got a seasonal cough. They said once I got sick the last time, I'll have it for 2 or 3 months.
I'm just gonna have to treat you like I did my husband. That's all there is to it.
Did you get the update?
An axe to the head.
Is that 37?
Yeah, that one's signed, we
It's
got that taken
All
care
right,
of.
now. I
And we
have,
got a date set for next Wednesday for
Uh,
a staff meeting at 10 o'clock. The 12th.
10 a.m.
Yep. I took the liberty of covering that
Very
for
good.
you.
Very good.
You can smack me if you want, but.
No, I'll.
No, I will.
Then this one is resolutions 2025-038, it's a resolution appointing a temporary deputy fiscal officer. Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Franklin Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the board approves the appointment of James Stevens to serve as Franklin Township Deputy Fiscal Officer to fulfill the duties of the fiscal officer in her absence. This appointment is temporary and shall be rescinded at the request of the Board of Trustees. Be resolved that all formal action of the board concerning and related to this resolution will pass in an open meeting of the board, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees result in such formal actions when a meeting open to the public in compliance with section 121.22 of the ORC. This resolution shall be enforced and effective immediately upon its adoption.
Hearing resolution, is there any other discussion?
I will
Here.
second that.
Hearing none, you got the second. Got it. Roll call when you're ready.
Mr. Leeser,
Yes.
Mr. Fleshman.
Yes.
Mr. Blevins.
Yes.
Gentlemen, that's all I have for you.
Okay, Mr. Blevins.
Comment, trustees comment?
Yes.
I've only got one, and I just wanna, I wouldn't even do it, I know you need to get out of here, but this needs to be said.
Sure.
I have felt supported here for 14 months and everything, while I've been, basically under attack and, from, our fiscal officer, and it's continually happening with texts and emails and things like that. And so I'm asking for you two gentlemen to please continue to, remember this, that this is a board. You know, I ran a campaign and the people elected me also, and they voted me in. And so, you know, when you get communications from the fiscal officer and I don't, it's not right.
Sure.
And so that's all I have, sir.
Okay. Back in January, and I forgot to report this, I was asked to go to the tech school that is over off of, Georgesville. Which one is that? Southwestern.
Yeah.
Being that
Career Center,
Southwest
Career
Career
Center.
Center. The Career Center is in, you know, Franklin Heights is in the township and et cetera. I was blown away as a guest going in and going through the school, because it was almost like you walk down a hall and you think you're really opening the door to an automotive place. And you go in and they have cars lists and they're working on transmissions and things of that nature. Go down the hall a little further, then they have like auto body where they have a paint booth, and they had a car in the paint booth.
You never was a Falsey Hayes?
No. And then you go down the hall, and then they have where they, the cooking, what do you call that? The food.
Food services.
Yeah, but it's, I can't think of what it's called for.
Culinary.
Colony, yeah, Colony. So the Colony School, that was, very good. I can say that firsthand, that was very tasty. Then you go down and they have, robotics. I was like, my lord, I would like to do this, I would like to do this. And then they had welding, and then they had another area that they had, and it was like going down a hallway, and like, it's just amazing, the front door. I mean, you think you're walking in a building from outside to a plumber. And I was very shocked what goes on there, and my suggestion to them was, you know, summer school, would you, you know, consider some of these trades where people could come in and wanna learn it, and, you know, especially computers and graphics and stuff. But I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't think it was gonna be like that, so, you know, I really thank them for allowing to have me to go through, and with the new year starting off, I didn't get a chance to say that in a previous meeting, so I apologize. But what an educational experience that was, that we have in Southwestern City School District. So that's all I have.
Only thing I have is, we've already talked about it, sewers going in on Hague Avenue and the roundabout at Hague and Trayview.
I thought they canceled that.
It's back on.
Okay,
They
so
put it back on?
I do have one last thing. I have been getting calls in regards to the trash. We don't have the containers anymore due to the construction. I had a person contact me and was very upset, and then I explained, because they recycle cardboard and everything else. So I just happened to got my trash bill that same day, and I said, you ever heard of something called Alpha? Because they're about the same price from what I understand, and on Mondays, whatever cardboard, they pick it up right from your door.
Yep.
So this person was like, wow, don't you have to load it up and come down here anymore? I said, no. So I typed in Alpha in the computer and gave them the number, and they were calling right away. So I didn't know if we're allowed to, like, if Nicole gets any questions, you know, what am I gonna do with it, et cetera. Alpha is a service that if you wanted to use them, it's up to them to research it, but Alpha does come in the township every Monday. And if you are a member, yeah, they will pick up whatever you set out. So,
I would run that by legal before we put it on the website.
right, but you know, it's something that we need to let people know, so I wanted to mention that today.
Oh,
So-
yeah, we could get away if we listed them all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, real quickly, any questions from the audience in regards to this meeting? We're gonna I'll open the floor. Seeing none? Seeing
Go
none?
home.
Huh?
Go home.
We are adjourned at 2:35. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're all trying to get you out
I
here. You won't
understand, I
get out.
appreciate that.